because I haven't worn this one at all in the video. Plus, I got this one through Dave.
Oh yeah. Okay. I can't read that at all.
Oh, so they got Noah Warren, Jack Hughes. I hope New Jersey drafts Jack Hughes just for the confusion. I'd like to see New Jersey draft Jack Hughes. Notice I didn't put like all the teams and all that. Remember the time I had all of it in order?
Oh my gosh, I do remember.
And then they were trading these two picks for these two picks, and that, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
I do remember that.
And then there were people, no, this team doesn't have that pick anymore. Okay, no.
Hello, everybody.
Morning, everybody. I feel like we just finished this.
It has been a little less than 12 hours.
Yeah, welcome back.
I made myself 2 teas this morning, so I'm ready. They just picked the first round last night.
Yep.
So it was just...
Today's round 2 through 7.
Yeah.
Just so I've got everything here.
The first through the 32nd.
And yeah, I saw Husso's traded to Detroit and signed a 3-year contract there. Vanacek was traded to New Jersey. So that's 2 goalies off the market and 2 teams that won't be in the market for said goaltenders. Although I wonder what else Washington has percolating since they traded Vanacek. So Copley's going to UFA market, so he's not going to be the guy.
My tea's still really hot.
I can't see them picking. So there's got to be a goaltender going to Washington, I would think.
I think the THG's keeping the Oats afloat with the jerseys he has of theirs. People do like it, the Arizona jerseys.
Coyotes jerseys are fun. And this one I really liked because I thought it was really unique out of the Hockey Fights Cancer.
Good afternoon from Germany.
Oh, so they're just showing the NHL. So now we're getting the NHL Network's live stream through Sportsnet. So all the Sportsnet guys are taking Friday off.
Because last night was so long, they're still in bed.
Yeah.
So excited to watch the first 10 picks of round 2 with you over the next 6 hours.
This stream won't end up being anywhere near as long as the other one.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Because I learned the first couple of times we did the live stream for rounds 2 and beyond that the view numbers aren't as high and it's just ridiculous. And so, yeah.
Oh, this is a Hockey Fights Cancer jersey. That's why it's the purple.
Yep. I have a bunch of these because we'll be doing the West Coast Kids tie-in again. So I have a lot of jerseys that I can use during Hockey Fights Cancer and use that to tie back to the West Coast Kids charity that I support and work with.
Pie or cheesecake? Yes. That's the answer.
Sure.
This. Would Gibson to the Caps make sense?
If he were on the market, like if John Gibson was made available by the Ducks, a lot of teams would be lining up for his services. I would think the Capitals would be one of many that would line up for his services.
What do you think of the Flyers trade?
I haven't seen the specifics, but I guess D'Angelo's gone off to Philadelphia. So I will be doing a video like I did yesterday where I go over the trades that took place and I'll discuss them because we're going to get a lot more trades today as well. Should be a very entertaining day overall.
Who's your favorite player of all time?
Personally, I would go with Cliff Ronning. There was nobody I cheered for more than Ronning. He was, I thought, underrated right from the draft, right through his whole career. He was always underrated.
Good morning, Shannon and Yvonne. Thanks so much for your hard work.
Howdy. Thank you very much.
Sabres should offer sheet Ottinger.
See, Ottinger, if an offer sheet came in that actually made Dallas say, forget it, it'd probably be way too much money. Ottinger had a decent first year, decent rookie season, excellent playoff against Calgary. I think the playoff against Calgary is raised the bar a little bit high is my thought.
Other people agreeing with you that Ronning was great.
Ronning was fantastic. He was so underrated. All he did was score a point a game everywhere he went, even during the dead puck era. he'd still score a point a game. And GM's just consistently because he was a smaller center. And it's like, okay, all he does is score points. What more do you want from him?
What do you think of Rick Nash attempting a comeback?
Oh, he's been out for too long. It's tough for players. Getting that conditioning back after being out of the game for that long would be difficult. So if that were the case, that'd be it's difficult.
What time did we get up? About 7.
Well, my brain still hasn't woken up completely, but yeah.
My eyes are still blurry. We got
but
up
in her
about
defense,
7. For us, it's just really early.
Her eyes are always blurry, so there's
true.
that.
That is true. But in the morning, it's exceptionally difficult for me to see.
Did you want to try to say that again, or
nope? We'll just move on.
Right, we'll leave that alone then. I can't say that I must be buying the wrong paint, because paint doesn't make me feel as happy as that Sicko paint does. I know they say it's Sicko.
I know.
Sicko's how they pronounce it. It's Sicko. It's Sico. It's Sicko. Deal with it.
Who do you think is most likely to get traded out of Buffalo if there's a trade to be made?
Well, see, it depends, because if Buffalo sees themselves as getting into the playoffs this coming season, then I don't know that you necessarily move a veteran. I don't know how much value there is right now with Buffalo's players either. Some teams, it might be better off for them to wait until the dust settles on free agency to make decisions on what they're going to do with players and who they're going to trade. Might even drive up value. Buffalo, I think really with Buffalo, you need stability and you need to win. So whoever doesn't fit that bill can go, but they definitely need both of those things.
What extension length do you think JT will look for?
JT. Well, if he means Tavares, why would Tavares need an extension? I'm not sure what JT that would JT. Because there's TDA who got traded, but
how many goalies are left on the market?
Not a lot. I mean, Kemper's obviously going to be the big name. Maybe Washington's looking at Kemper. It is much smaller in terms of the goaltending market than what it was, say, 48 hours ago.
I said maybe JT Miller.
Oh yeah, JT Miller. Okay, because I hear JT, I think John Tavares. JT Miller. I just hope he and the Canucks get it worked out, because honestly, it's frustrating to watch a guy have such a good year and see that team come together after Boudreau takes over, and then everybody wants to trade Miller. I'm bewildered.
Canes should move to Charlotte.
Didn't they play out? No, they didn't play out of Charlotte.
Oh, goodness. Is Nashville going to re-sign Forsberg?
They're working on it. I know Poyle, last time that he talked about it, said that they're working on it and they're trying to, but we're less than a week away from the start of free agency, so he's better off at this point. Personally, he's probably better off just to go to market. He can still go back to Nashville and sign an 8-year deal once he's hit the market. But yeah, I mean, he could at the very least hit the market and see what's out there. Notable players selected on day 2 of the draft. Oh, we're doing that again? Oh, but I know who was selected. They always make it feel like, oh, look, these guys were.
You could still get good guys.
This is where they get into. Don't turn off the TV, because one of these guys has been picked in the 5th round, so you're gonna really regret missing the 5th round.
Who do you think the Blues pair with Bennington?
Well, the Blues are one of those teams that'll be interesting to see what happens with Hofer. If Hofer's ready, then they bring up Hofer. Remember when Husso came up and became the backup, there was some talk about, well, maybe they'll look somewhere else. Maybe look at somebody else. They didn't. So maybe Hofer ends up getting that job as the backup.
Which position or positions should the Kings draft to fill in any gaps and or complement Fiala?
When you're drafting in the 2nd round and beyond, you're drafting guys who are not going to be in the NHL right away. You're drafting guys who have some holes in their game. Honestly, I've never thought it's a big deal whether you draft forwards, defense, just as long as you're getting good players and you're developing them right. That to me is the key thing. I don't really worry about they already had a goalie. Why'd they draft another goalie? The first instinct I have when a team I cheer for drafts a guy from a certain position, if I feel like they have too many, is go and look. I don't really worry about the position as much as best player available.
This is definitely Shannon's full-time job. This takes way more time than a full-time job. It is 7 days a week and way more than 8 hours. He couldn't, yeah. I would never see him.
You don't see me now.
I don't.
I have to wear a name tag in my own house.
Yeah, Shannon does way more than 40 hours a week.
Okay, so Owen Beck, center, goes to Montreal. This is where it starts getting kind of crazy. So that's not one of the best available. So Furcus continues to drop.
Do you think the Canucks should sign a veteran goaltender like Schneider for the AHL?
Honestly, if they're going to give Silovs more of a chance, I don't think they need to. I think the Canucks goaltending depth is okay if they believe Spencer Martin's going to be their backup at the NHL level, and if they want to give Silovs that chance, I don't really think they need much. I mean, if you could bring back a Louis Domingue, sure, but I don't think they need a lot in that.
Anything with Boston today?
Not yet, but at least we've already got one pick done. Done. They just make the pick from there and done. So come on, San Jose.
When are you taking a vacation? Well, we're going on holiday first week of August. So, woo! But Shannon still posts videos every day. So, if that's what you mean, never.
And I'll be making extra videos before we go.
Which I've been suggesting for years. I'll still do videos, though. Who wins? Oh, it skipped. And now I can't see.
Cameron Lund goes to San Jose at 34.
Philly gets Tony DeAngelo. Canes get second, third, and fourth.
What happened to the feed? Okay, I've still got the Sportsnet Pacific Chiron, but I don't have anything else. There we go. So I was wondering, all right, so did the Rogers network problem affect Sportsnet? Now it's gone?
Many Sharks fans aren't happy with the Sharks trading down, but they've done well drafting in later rounds. Vlasic was an early second, right? I'm sure Greer has a plan. Bysted is a big C.
Yeah, he is. Okay, so Furcus just went in the pick that was blacked out. Furcus is a great name for a hockey player.
Did you hear me say that at all?
Well, the thing with Bysted is it can be seen as a bit of a reach because of where everybody had him ranked. But I mean, they had a plan. So yeah, I mean, brand new GM must have seen something they liked, or one of the scouts saw something they liked with him.
Does New Jersey trade Blackwood, or does he become 18? Or what? 1B. I was thinking.
I think he's sticking around. I think it's a 1A, 1B situation. I don't think he's going anywhere. Because I don't see Vanacek as a 1A. Like, I don't see Vanacek as a big starter either. So it's still Blackwood's net.
Shannon's favorites are the Canucks, Boston, and Dallas. NHL Network is down.
No, it was for a couple seconds. Again, this is too fast for me to be able to do all of it. It's the same as it was 3 years ago. I'm not going to be able to do all this and keep up with the chat. So,
do you see Kemper possibly being in the mix for Toronto?
I'm sure that's something that Dubas would love to have happen. I don't know if Kemper's asking price is going to be lower than Campbell's, and if it's not, if Campbell and Kemper were at the same asking price, I honestly, I'd probably keep Campbell between the two, but we'll see what they do.
ESPN Plus is down. Yeah, there's
two
people saying
we're all the way up to
ESPN
the
Plus is down.
37th pick now. So all right, so they're not even showing all the picks.
That's really odd that they're doing that already. I thought last year they waited till the fourth round. Till they were having it on the side.
Last year it was all being done by phone, and there were all these timeouts.
So weird.
And it was just it took forever. So I'll write them down. I'll document who goes where later on. So the board behind me is more of just a hey, look, it's a board kind of thing than anything else.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. Maybe it took so long last night. They're like, we gotta get this done.
No, this is how it should be. This is how it's supposed to be. The 2nd through 7th rounds are supposed to go fast.
With Husso and assistant coach Bob
Bubner.
Okay. And goalie coach Alex Westland is Detroit on something.
Well, they're changing things. Yzerman has raised the bar. He feels that they should be in a better position than they are. So yeah, they're changing things, and I agree with that. Yeah, I don't get this. You know, TSN, when they used to do it, what they would do is they'd have the chyron on the right showing who was picked, current pick, next pick, and recent picks. They're not doing that.
That's what they did last year, because I can remember trying to catch it.
Yep, the NHL Network's not doing that, so I can't even do anything. They're not even showing it. All right.
They spend so much time showing handshakes and hugs instead of stats and picks.
Yeah, they're not showing the stat that's 39th. They didn't talk about. Okay, all right, cool.
Yes, there is a Rogers outage, so that is going to be impacting a lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot.
We're on TELUS, as I mentioned in the chat before the live stream got started. We're on TELUS. We're not impacted by it. Although I thought all the networks in Canada shared towers.
Yeah, they do. That's why I don't.
So how does the network go down if they all share towers?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think is the delay in the Laine contract negotiation?
Money. Laine has always been a firm believer in this is what I feel I'm worth. And I you know what? I applaud that. I applaud a player saying this is what I'm worth and sticking to their guns. But yeah, it's likely not leading to great negotiations between the two. But once it gets done, it's done. And I do think that Jarmo gets it done.
Did the Kraken get the steal of the draft yesterday, or does Wright have bust written all over him?
Well, apparently the big talking point yesterday was that Shane Wright, as he went up and got the jersey from Seattle, he gave a dagger stare to the whole Montreal bench, the whole Montreal table. He gave them a death glare. So, I mean, if he's fired up, the funny thing is they're like, oh, he'll be motivated now. And I thought, you know, if he looked more motivated in his games this year, he probably would have gone number 1 overall. So hopefully he uses that to his benefit, because there's a reason he dropped to 4. I'm still surprised it happened, though.
Bell and TELUS share the towers. No problem with them. I didn't think we even had Bell here.
Not in BC.
Yeah,
but
we don't.
They have Bell in Ontario, I know.
Right. We don't hear, though.
I don't think we do.
I don't know.
It's Rogers, Shaw, and TELUS.
Yeah.
Are the 3 big ones out here.
Who replaces D'Angelo in Carolina?
I would think they probably replace him from within. There are defensemen that are available. If they're willing to spend some money, there's some good defensemen that are available. Maybe they circle back on Petrie if they're allowed to call Montreal. I don't know if Montreal and Carolina are on speaking terms, though.
Can Thomas Greiss bounce back on a better team this season? Also, don't know why Nedeljkovic gets flack on a team with 1 defenseman.
I think that with Greiss, at this stage, he's 36. I don't know. He may have played his last year in the NHL. We may see him coming back and playing. But yeah, he may have played his. Yeah, they're just showing handshakes and guys just, hey, hi, hey, there's another hug and a handshake.
The Sportsnet outage doesn't impact you like the War of 1812 didn't impact the French.
Well, they did sell less croissants. During the War of 1812, there was a ban on croissants. I don't know why it was American implemented.
Avs fan here. I'm super excited to hear we got Georgiev. Right. Why is media so skeptical? I think we stole him. Another Sakic robbery, in my opinion.
I think that Georgiev, while he had a bit of a down year, there's still a lot of potential there. I don't I don't know what was going on with the Rangers and if there was something that affected them too, but I do still think Georgiev's a good goaltender. The one thing with Colorado is they didn't win the Stanley Cup because of their goaltending. They also didn't lose the Stanley Cup because of their goaltending. Their goaltending was good. Georgiev and Francouz can both be very good goaltenders.
This is going so fast. It's to make up for yesterday. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
this is flying. This is how the second through seventh rounds are supposed to go. But since they're not showing us who's drafting, they're not showing us who's been drafted. They're not talking about all of the draft picks that are being taken. Like there was and so just got taken by Toronto, and I'm like, okay, they didn't show the guy, they didn't show anything about him. And sadly, because Sportsnet's got the exclusive rights, there's nowhere else for me to watch the draft.
What's your take on the Montreal trades yesterday?
I think Montreal's doing a good job. I think there's some boldness to the moves they've made. I do think Kirby Dach can bounce back. I like Kirby Dach. I don't know what happened to him in Chicago last year. He's a good center, and they've got some good depth down the middle now. I think the Slavkovsky pick was likely the right pick. I was very surprised they were brave enough to do that at home when Shane Wright would have been a slam dunk with the fans.
Buffalo took the first goalie this year. Is that Tobias?
Leanin. Yeah.
That's a lot of ends.
I think he was in the video I did on goaltenders. Shoot. Yeah, I already erased that board, but he was in the video I think that I did on goaltenders. So maybe instead of this being the draft board, maybe I should have the trades on this board, because clearly the draft picks, they don't care who's being drafted when or by who. Because they're not showing any. Look, there's nothing on the screen.
I know, it is odd.
There's no Chiron whatsoever. There's nothing. The one time they give me a clean, beautiful screen like that, is it during a hockey game? No, they don't do that during a hockey game, where I would really appreciate at times not having the big scroll on the bottom and scrolls at the top. No, during the draft, where I want to know, so who, okay, never mind. All right, so I'll switch out the boards.
I don't think Shannon would appreciate an espresso.
Yeah, probably not. The closest they get is a coffee crisp chocolate bar.
Well, that says espresso, though, so maybe that's something different. He
Yeah,
doesn't like espressos.
Too. I've told you that before. I've called it
more croissant dog.
I call it an espresso for years.
There's no X.
But that's how it was pronounced. That's always how I heard it pronounced, so that's how I started pronouncing it. And express sounds like it's fast, and so it's fast.
Blue Jackets drafted a player named Luca Del Beluz. Great name. And second, the Sharks drafted. Hey, Shannon.
I was just getting my markers.
That's not. You are not.
I was just getting my markers.
Cameron Lund and Matthias Havlid.
Havlid was one of the top 32 on the combined rankings, so considered to be a pretty good prospect. I haven't gotten into into Lund's background yet and looked at him yet. I will be doing videos on what teams did and who they got once the draft is over, which appears it's going to be done in about 10 minutes here. So that helps.
NHL Network has the scroll with picks.
Not on my screen. I got nothing. And so it's the NHL.com feed on Sportsnet. Now, this might be the Rogers outage that's having a problem here, too. That's possible. All right, so take the St. Louis magnet and the Detroit magnet.
There goes Seamus. Seamus Casey went at 46. Hunter Haight went at 47.
They're taking his breath away.
What? Okay.
Okay, well, he's more into this than I am.
I'm not sure what they're doing.
I'm not that into it that I'm getting my breath taken away.
What do you think the Blues are doing?
Well, I mean, trading out Husso means that they weren't going to get any kind of extension done with them, and they just wanted to get something back. I think they got a 7th rounder today for him. So yeah, I guess again, Hofer might be the backup for them this coming season. Maybe they want to go after Kemper. That'd be odd if they went after Kemper, but stranger things have happened.
Caps and Jersey made a move.
Yeah. There it is. 2022 second. Tech Vanacek.
Tried to listen to it on Sportsnet 650, but there was no sound. That would probably be
That's
Rogers.
the Rogers outing.
There's going to be quite a few things that don't work just because Rogers is such a huge company. So a lot of those communication networks work with Rogers. Luckily, we don't have Rogers.
Yes. Not the first time I've said that. But...
There have been a few times where there's huge outages and, well, it doesn't apply to us.
Yep.
The last huge one, was that one Rogers too? Or no, that one was Shaw. When there was that huge Shaw outage. That worked for us too.
Oh, Jack Hughes went to LA. Christian Kyrou goes to Dallas. There we go. Now we've got a Chiron. Now
that
we're down to 51.
Yeah. That's what they normally have.
Yanni Neiman. Interesting.
NHL app draft tracker showing names as picked.
Yeah, it's just normally now they have it on the TV. They just didn't have it on the TV before. Maybe they heard me on there. D'Angelo 2-year extension with Philly in the $5 million range. Nice. That's from Friedman.
Oh, breakfast is on me. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, we realized at the end of the live stream last night we hadn't eaten.
I realized before the end of the live stream that I hadn't eaten.
Yeah, well, you're smarter.
I was very hungry. Today, after the live stream, I'll be making strawberry shortcakes because that's needed.
I told you how to make strawberry shortcake.
No, those aren't strawberry shortcake.
It is. You get sponge cake, Cool Whip, and strawberries. Strawberry shortcake, and done.
It's not strawberry shortcake.
Get little sponge cakes. It's been made that way since I was a kid.
No.
Dmitry Bachelnikov going to Detroit.
Who do the Bruins? Oh, it doesn't have the number.
Bruins are up at 54th.
That must be what number they're asking about.
This year's draft, who knows? We're just here for the ride. But at least Jack Hughes is now a King, so that won't get confusing. He's also a center. That won't get confusing later on.
Do you think the Pens can keep Raquel?
I mean, they can. Like, I don't think Raquel's asking price is going to be huge. I don't know how well Raquel... I mean, Raquel fit in okay with the Penguins.
Cool Whip is disgusting, and I'm not sure it's considered food. See? Mm-hmm.
So
I'm right.
You take strawberries, Cool Whip.
That's not
strawberry
shortcake.
Sponge cakes. No. And then you take your little judgment crown instead of on your head, and you can sit in the corner while I'm enjoying my strawberry shortcake.
It's not strawberry shortcake.
And I'm enjoying it, and I'm telling you how good it is.
It's not, but I know better. Yuck.
Your Highnessness.
No, we can't ban the guy that said that Cool Whip is gross because that's my mom. So people have tried to ban my mom before.
People have.
Because she says things and people are like, what? How dare that person say that's my mom. So no, we're not banning my mom. It's really hard to unban her. So if people could stop banning her, that'd be great. I think I made it so people can't ban her.
Boston just traded their pick at 54.
My mom is in the chat. Do you think the Canucks do anything today?
I mean, anything is technically possible. There could be moves with the Canucks today. I think there's going to be moves made, but I don't think they feel the pressure to make them right now. There isn't anything with the Canucks that is, okay, you have to fix this immediately with the team. So it'll be fine. Oh, there's the D'Angelo trade.
Cool Whip is amazing. It's not. It's nope. It's
no. It's great. Why did they list
Cool Whip is gross. Literally, whipped vegetable spread. Real whipped cream is so much better. Agreed. I don't.
Cool Whip.
Yuck.
I love Cool Whip.
No, icky.
I need to get some Cool Whip today.
You're a dork.
You're a dork.
Yuck. Nope.
Can't talk to me.
I'm making real strawberry shortcake after we do live stream because it's strawberry season. So. These trades are just insane. Why does nobody want Lambert?
Lambert went at 30th to the Winnipeg Jets yesterday. So the Jets picked him at 30th. I mentioned in my draft review yesterday that Hockey Prospect had him at 29th on their list. So something really soured them on Lambert. He was just stalled in his development. I didn't feel like he played very well this year at all. So he went from a surefire top 5 in initial projections to 30th.
And do you think the Canucks should have dealt the 15th pick in order to get a killer return on Miller?
No. No. I like who they picked at the 15th overall pick, and I don't see a reason to give away Miller in a first. I swear there's too many people that have just basically been playing EA Sports NHL games for too long. So when it comes to draft time, they're like, let's trade them all. Let's just trade them. Here's what he did. I got Sidney Crosby in mine because I traded this pick and this guy, and I got Sidney Crosby, so I don't see the big deal.
In the South, that's how we make shortcakes. That's sad because that's not strawberry shortcake.
That's the way that my family made it.
Is the strawberries. Other than that, that's not.
But that's the way that it was in my family, and then
sorry,
that's the way that I raised my kids too.
That's sad.
They enjoyed it. Just go to
because they didn't know any.
Go to Superstore, grab your sponge cakes, your whipped cream, and your strawberries, and you're all done.
Cool Whip is not whipped cream.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
It's Cool Whip.
It's not whipped cream. Sure no, it's not. There's no cream in it.
Doesn't need cream in it to be Cool Whip. It's awesome. Rieger Lorenz going to Minnesota. So there you got Winnipeg and Minnesota right back to back there. Elias Salamonson, so another long name for Winnipeg. And then Rieger Lorenz going to
Minnesota. You got fun
Minnesota.
Name players yesterday.
Rieger is a fantastic first name. The only sad thing is he's not going to be playing with Rutger. I want Rieger and Rutger to play together.
What do you think the Rangers do on free agency day? Do you think they go for Kane? I hope not. He's washed up.
I'd be very surprised if the Rangers went for Evander Kane because I don't think scoring is a huge problem for them, and they need help down the middle. Kane's a winger, so I don't think that necessarily works for them.
I don't even know what Cool Whip is. It's gross. It's pretend gross. Whipped cream.
It doesn't. I eat it
like
straight out of
cream.
the.
Oh my gosh! It's pretend whipped cream. It has no cream in it. It has no dairy in it. It does not.
I'm pretty sure you can get a spray version too. So you just spray it right in your face.
It doesn't taste like whipped cream.
It's fine. Yeah, it's exactly like whipped cream.
It's like what margarine is to butter. That's what it is.
No, that's gross. Cream. Take that back. Take that back.
Same thing.
Okay, Ryan Green goes to
real
Chicago.
Crumbly shortcake only. Right? It's totally different than sponge cake.
Oh, that name's great. Nicholas Kakko ends up going to Seattle.
Might be
so that's a goaltender.
Topping,
goaltender in the second round to Seattle. Nicholas Kakko. I'm going to have to look him up because I didn't see him listed in the stuff I was reading. So maybe Seattle knows something here.
We do have internet because we have TELUS.
Hi. We do not have Rogers. This is where people find out, they don't have Rogers. Right.
Woohoo.
And yeah, I mean, although the view counts are always low on second day anyways, comparatively speaking.
That's
day
cool.
One's up here, day two's down here.
Yeah, strawberry shortcake on more of a biscuity kind of thing, right? It's not sponge cake.
Toppy Ronnie ends up going
Miracle
to
Whip is so gross.
Calgary.
Yuck. I can remember the first time I had Miracle Whip, I thought
name.
The mayonnaise had gone bad.
Toppy Ronnie is such a great name.
So that's my opinion.
See the difference on day two? They just have jerseys sitting on the table.
It's quicker that way.
Take your jersey.
Just
go
throw
away.
It at this guy.
Here. Did we draft you? Yeah. Okay, cool.
What do you
mean no? Give me back my jersey.
Okay. Do Canucks address defense issues in off-season?
They have to. Honestly, their defense, I thought, performed very well under Boudreau, but they need to fix some issues there for sure. I don't know that a free agency does it. They might have to go the trade route for it, but yeah, things need to change.
How much do I get paid for this? Not enough.
What I do is, we have a tip jar, and every time I have cash, I put money in a tip jar.
Shannon never has cash.
The only problem is I haven't carried cash in about 4 years. But I swear, as soon as I start carrying cash again, this little lady is going to get her share from the tip jar.
Shannon.
So I just keep telling her, don't you worry, little lady. You're getting your tip jar money
Little
soon.
lady? You would call me little lady?
I do call you little lady. Not to your face, but back.
Brad, hockey guy pays an exposure.
That's right. Yeah, you're famous now. So what more do you want?
She's a rip off.
Look at that kid at the table
He
there
looks
for the
thrilled.
Canes.
So thrilled. What do I have to do? That's probably the runner.
Yeah, so if you're at the draft table, don't be sitting there like this.
He's got a plate full of bacon though, so he's fine.
That's right. I'm hungry. Here, have some bacon. Shut up.
Take it. Here in an apple, so it looks not so bad.
Yeah, I don't like bacon. Well, you have an apple then. I don't care.
Pavon and Cool Whip.
Well, you know what? He'd be sad too because these guys all have pizza. He's got bacon. Now somebody's telling him on his phone that he's on my live stream. THG says you look grumpy. Oh crap, I'm on TV. Where's the camera?
Yeah, Cool Whip's gross. Yeah. NHL Network has a scroll thingy unlike Sportsnet.
They have it now. Okay, so Trikazov ended up going 60th to Carolina. He was listed as one of the guys who was in the top 32 in the average rankings. So that's a pretty good pick for Carolina. David Goyette ends up going 61st to Seattle. I remember seeing his name a lot too. So all these players are going to have at least one part of their game that's really, really good, but they're seen as being either not NHL ready, they might be smaller, or they might be seen as there's something wrong with his skating and there's something a little off with this or that. So that's where you get into a second round and beyond.
Flyers traded for Tony DeAngelo.
Yep, right there. I got the trades on the board from today so far. I'll just move back and.
Hey.
What? I was just moving the board.
That's not the board.
This is the board, sweetie.
Shannon.
Do you not know where the board is?
Just shut your mouth. It's brat. Has Vegas picked yet?
No. Vegas doesn't have a pick till round 3. I think it's round 3 for Vegas. Okay, so Elaine Hudson ends up going to Montreal.
My mom, his mom, is what awkward for our moms. Our moms are both good. Our moms are awesome. We both have cool moms.
This is true.
Both of our moms watch live streams occasionally.
Elaine Hudson, who goes to Montreal, defenseman, 5'8".
I don't think your mom ever comments though. My mom does.
No, my mom will just send me a message.
Yeah.
She tells me if she watches a video and then she'll share it on her Facebook too.
I was going to say, your mom shares your videos.
Yeah. And right now my mom has a picture of her and I together as her profile picture. So I don't know what I did for her to be proud of me now.
Do our moms like hockey?
Yes.
Yeah, they both enjoy hockey.
Although my mom at one point asked me in the 80s, remember way back in the 80s, she asked me if I thought Wayne Gretzky was going to win the Grey Cup. Yeah. And I said, probably not. And I asked my dad, I said, do you think Gretzky's going to win the Grey Cup? And he's like, I don't think it's one of the few times my dad and I had a really good back and forth and a good laugh. Adam Sikora drafted 63rd. Any relation?
Like, I had an ex-husband who did not watch hockey at all. And one time he was wearing a Canucks toque. And we went just across the border because we live right by the American border. And he said a comment of, oh my gosh, I'm wearing this toque. And I said, why? So, well, we're in Seahawks area and they're really big rivals with the Canucks.
Well, in his defense.
And then I started laughing and he wasn't very happy.
The Seahawks have never won a hockey game against the Canucks. It is one of their greatest
really
shames.
Funny. He was not impressed with me laughing.
See, you and I were both with people who didn't appreciate sarcasm. Eh? Is that the first time you've worn this?
It is. I had to take the tags off of this one too.
It's the first time I've worn this in a video too, I think. So there you go.
No.
Breaking in New Jerseys.
My mom really likes Shannon. She knows that Shannon is awesome.
Or the bar was really low. One or the other.
Well, that's a possibility.
One or the other.
That is true as well. But my mom really likes Shannon, so. Thoughts on Pittsburgh free agency, Malkin getting signed, Tarasenko, Kessel, Chychrun to Pittsburgh.
Chychrun's not on the market right now. Arizona's made it clear unless there's some offer that blows him away, he's not being offered. I don't think Kessel goes back, although If it was Malkin that didn't like Kessel, you could maybe make the argument for Kessel going back. Kessel this past year in Arizona, though, looked older, slower than in previous seasons. So I don't think you're going to get the return on investment you might want with Kessel. Malkin, I think, ends up hitting the market. They're still working with him, but I think he ends up hitting the market. Callie Odius or Odelius ends up going 64th overall to the Islanders. He was on the... Is he down here? Yeah, he was number 29 on the average ranking. So that's a guy who dropped quite a bit from where he was expected to go.
Shannon does have the jersey.
Of course I have the jersey.
And somebody sent you the hat.
I have the hat
too.
Because it looks silly without the hat.
When we opened it up, we just started laughing. That's funny. Yeah, somebody sent him the hat one. So that's fun.
Yeah, see, they're already into round 3.
Where can I watch the draft picks? We're watching
NHL
on
Network.
Sportsnet.
I'm watching on Sportsnet. That's on the NHL Network. I'm pretty sure that if you have the NHL app, you can watch on there as well. I don't know if that's free. I know that watching hockey games requires a paid subscription. I don't know if watching the draft does as well.
Do our moms watch live streams? Yes, my mom's on here. At least she was a little bit ago.
My mom does.
She's made comments. His mom watches frequently but doesn't comment. But yeah, both of our moms watch.
My mom's quite proud. She messaged me the first time that somebody said, "You're THG's mom." She was all excited that somebody knew who she was.
Shannon's mom is very proud of him.
Yes.
She talks about him quite a lot and talks about how very proud she is. So somebody says Blues in Detroit trade. Blues received a 3rd round pick.
They got a 3rd for Husso? All I saw was a 7th.
Oh, see, there's my mom.
Oh, it is a 3rd.
She's on here.
That's all right.
Predictions for next season.
Next season.
That's very open.
We're not even into free agency yet. I think that Colorado has a good chance of repeating. That's as far as I can go. Tampa Bay is still going to be tough to deal with. Toronto should be in the mix, though. We'll see what happens with their goaltending and their blue line.
Do your dads watch hockey? We just have our moms.
Yeah, my father passed on years back.
Yep, we both just have our moms. We both have very, very small families.
Well, I have a lot of family in Newfoundland.
Well, yes. We've got the extended family, but we don't have the siblings, and kids don't have cousins, and we have our moms. Between Boston and Chicago, who's about to have a more pathetic season?
Chicago's planning on it. Boston's not. So my guess is Boston will have a disappointing season if they don't figure out how they're going to replace some key guys being gone for the first half of the season. Oh, this is funny. American followers, please ignore my tweets about Rogers. Half the Canada's without internet and cell service, and we're angry. So that's where Canada's at. Tell us. Time to make the switch, Rogers customers. They can't see that because they don't have cell service. Oh, see, notable 3rd round draft picks. This is the please don't turn off the TV part of the show. There's been 4 picks since they went to commercial. Mikko Matika. Oh, man. That kid has to play right away. Or Mikko Matika. That's a great name. That's fantastic.
What should Caps do if Backstrom is out?
Well, that's the problem, is that if Backstrom comes back, that creates another problem because you can put him on LTIR, but then you have a problem when he comes off LTIR. So it's better if he's not coming back to play, to be honest, because then you could just replace that $9 million. I don't know how they're going to do this. They can't just go out and spend money, get a really good second line center, like let's say Kadri, and then they're screwed when Backstrom comes off the LTIR. Plus, we don't know what kind of shape he's going to be in. Hip resurfacing is usually career ending. So
sounds very
Washington's
painful.
in trouble. Yeah, it's like awful. Hip replacement, but it's resurfacing.
Yeah, that sounds.
So it's we'll just shave this down and Yeah, it's not, and of course with skating, it's your hips, right?
Yeah,
So if your hips go, you can't skate.
that sounds absolutely horrible.
That's one thing. I watch wrestling and hockey, and they are two sports that if your hips are gone, you're done. That's it.
The draft has definitely started. They've finished.
They're up
They're
to
on the
pick
third
number
round.
71.
It's
So
going so
yeah.
fast.
Perevalov. That's a cool name. I don't know if what's with the hat?
Oh, somebody said that Matika meant math in, I think it was Finnish.
Well, yeah, to be Finnish.
There it is. Matika is math in Finnish.
Nice. Martika was a 2-hit wonder back in the 90s. Remember Toy Soldiers?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Have
Then
the Red
Mob Night will
Wings
be
done
done.
enough to be knocking on the wild card door? Also, for strawberry shortcake, use a glazed donut cooked French toast style. No.
No. The wings
I
the
make
wings
the
are going to be
biscuits.
the wings
They're
are going to
kinda
be better.
biscuits.
The wings are going to be better this season. If Edvinsson comes in and plays as well as expected, they're going to be a lot better. This is the Red Wings are going to surprise some people, and I do expect Boston to probably fall back. It's not the first time I've predicted Boston to fall back, though, so we'll see if it happens this year.
Vegas had the 48th pick. They got Matthias Sapovalev. I'm probably slaughtering that name. So
That was a
there you
Vegas
go.
pick. That was while
Right.
they didn't have the Chiron up. And they were just flying through picks and showing everybody shaking hands.
Yeah.
Oscar Pettersson. There's an Elias Pettersson in this draft class. I really hope Vancouver finds a way to draft him. I like confusion. I really wanted New Jersey to draft the other Jack Hughes too.
You guys like Tim Hortons? Who doesn't like Tim Hortons?
If you're Canadian, you have to sign a waiver
Who
that says
doesn't
you like Tim Hortons. And if you don't, then they send you off to Saskatoon and you get pushed onto one of the Arctic ice floes and left to perish.
Tim Hortons is great. I really like their steep tea. And it's nice that I can get a large steep tea and it's not even $2.
Best cinnamon buns
It's great.
in Canada.
My kids love Timbits.
Alex Santeri Kaskamaki. That's a fantastic name. Why is he not playing right now?
How are we feeling about Buffalo?
You know, I'm relatively bullish on Buffalo. The problem is only so many teams can make the playoffs, but they should definitely be better this year. Again, I think if they came up short to making the playoffs, but they at least showed that upward momentum, that's something Buffalo fans need to see.
I'm checked same as Matthias, whatever. I'm not going to slaughter it again. And even I have trouble pronouncing his name. I feel bad when I don't know.
Do you know the problem I'm going to have? Is that one of the best tennis players in Canada is Shapovalov, and it's too close to that.
Right.
I guarantee I'll call him Shapovalov at some point, and there'll be people going, he doesn't play tennis, hockey guy. Stupid hockey guy not knowing how. He's not a tennis player from Canada.
Do you think Rangers will re-sign Kopp?
No. It sounds like that's not on the table, that he's going to free agency. So
I like him.
they're looking for a second line center. Yeah, I'd love to see him back in Winnipeg.
Me too. I really liked him.
If Vancouver, Dallas, or Boston pick him up, look for this guy to be gloating a little bit.
In my Timmy's app, I usually picked him to score a goal.
He'd be perfect in Dallas.
He got me lots of Timmy's points.
He would suit Dallas so well. And then we could trade Sagan for Connor McDavid. We could trade Jamie Benn for, I don't want to get greedy, Zibanejad. And then we'd have a really good team.
Totally work.
So, see, I can do it too. There you go. Speculations. Just go ahead and THG says this is happening.
How am I? I'm doing pretty good, actually.
She's got me. How much better can it get?
True.
Vincent's Roarer.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It's pretty early here for us. I mean, I know it's almost
8:52 in the morning.
But during the hockey season, we have to be so late with games. That's kind of how our normal schedule is. And in the morning, my eyes don't work very well. They're kind of blurry. So trying to be able to read.
So see again, 75th pick. He's 5'10". So a lot of the time with the later picks, you're looking at guys who might be shorter, guys who for whatever reason scouts are like, he's 17.
I was going to say, he looks like Gabriel.
He's 17 years of age. He's 5'10", 167 pounds.
He looks a lot
and this
like
this is why the draft is such a crapshoot, because he's not done growing yet.
Right.
He's not done growing. And so, I mean, it's possible that he ends up being a steal. at 75th for Montreal.
Do you think Goudreau is re-signing with the Flames?
I think Tree Living will do everything he can to re-sign him. There's an 8-year deal apparently that's out there. I'd be very surprised if he hits the market, but I've been surprised before. I'd like to see him stay with Calgary. If my opinion matters at all, I'd like to see him stay.
What's my next jersey? I know Shannon just ordered me a jersey.
I got you the Team Canada one.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I haven't worn that one. I did just, Shannon got me the Team Canada one.
I got you the Team Canada one.
Which I liked those jerseys. I know a lot of people don't.
I bought another jersey for a friend of mine.
The women's jersey's different.
Bought a jersey
for the embroidered logo
for a friend of mine from Ben because the only jersey that she has is a fake and it's Kessler. I was like, you can't have a Canucks jersey with Kessler on the back and it potentially be a fake. You just can't. So I'm buying her a jersey because I think that it's important to. It's like a charity thing, right? With like, hey, someday there'll be a commercial. There'll be Sarah McLachlan, and it'll be me delivering jerseys to children.
Friends don't let friends wear fake
delivering jerseys to people who have fakes. Tell them it's okay. I got you this. It's real. It's an Adidas. And then we can share a moment. I can give them a hug and then never see them again.
Best It'll fit be great. For Klingberg?
Klingberg's going to be tough. If he wants 8 years, which has been the rumor, obviously would be 7 as a free agent. With Klingberg, it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up because I think he's asking a little bit much. I could see a team outside the playoffs. I could see like maybe I don't know who's going to want to spend that kind of money in term though on Klingberg. That's the problem I have is trying to figure out which team would be willing to do it. He's a good offensive defenseman. There are times where he makes questionable decisions on the ice. She heard that when we went to the Dallas-Vancouver game. I may have mentioned Klingberg's name a couple of times. I also mentioned Radulov a couple of times while we were there.
That's true.
Those were the names I mentioned. I don't complain about players in live streams. I don't complain about players in reviews or previews as often as possible. I avoid it. But in person, I will complain about decisions. There's a lot of, where was that puck going? What are you doing passing the puck to the other team and then leaving the ice? That's a terrible way to make a line change. So Klingberg might have elicited that response from me a couple of times during that game. And so I will be interested to see where he goes. If a team like Chicago decides, hey, we're not so far to the rebuild, we can throw a bunch of money at Klingberg. We'll see.
With Flyers getting D'Angelo, is Ryan Ellis done?
See, Ellis plays a completely different game than D'Angelo, so I wouldn't necessarily conflate one with the other. I think Philadelphia realizes they need better offense on their blue line. Yandel, who they scratched down the stretch, Yandel is an offensive defenseman. He may be taking the position of what they had hoped Yandel would do for them.
Love your channel. What are your thoughts on Habs draft?
Habs have done really well. Slavkovsky was the right pick, I believe. It was also a brave pick because this was the Shane Wright draft. Shane Wright hype. A lot of Montreal fans wanted Wright. So being brave enough to say we're going for Slavkovsky, we feel is the best pick. I think that was a pretty brave move on their part. So Quinn Finley going to the Islanders.
Have we decided on a Vegas meetup day? We need to do that.
Figure out something.
Yeah, we haven't.
It's tricky in August though because it's so hot.
It is. So we have to figure out where to have it that we're all not going to roast. And then when to have it.
Yep.
Yeah. I should start looking at that. But if anybody wants to.
So he's got to be like 12 in that picture, right?
Absolutely can. Oh my gosh, yeah.
So Quinn Finley's picture they put up there, he looks like he's 12.
So we have a bit of a guess on teenager ages here. They look younger than Malachi.
These are young kids.
Our 17-year-old, he's almost 18.
Yep. You're getting old.
Looks older. I am definitely old.
I mean, you could be a grandmother.
No, I could not.
You could.
Have you met them? No.
I don't mean soon. I just mean you could be a grandmother.
One day.
Just old enough. You're legally old enough.
Well, legally. What? What do you think about Flyers and Ottawa moves?
I really like I like that Carolina gets good value for D'Angelo. I do like Philadelphia being willing to, pick up the player and get that offense on the blue line. Ottawa picking up DeBrincat is a home run. Ottawa picking up DeBrincat to me is an absolute clear-cut home run. I mean, obviously, we'll see if his scoring translates in Ottawa the way that it did in Chicago. He's not going to have Kane setting him up anymore, but he's a goal scorer, and I really like it. I do.
What do the Bruins need to do this offseason?
They need to find scoring depth. It's the same problem they've had every year for a long time. They need that scoring depth. Toronto called a timeout.
Do you have a favorite AHL jersey? Shannon definitely has some that he really likes.
That would probably be. That'd probably be my my Arizona, the Tucson Roadrunners. That's Kachina style. Yeah, that one's pretty awesome. But there are some really good AHL jerseys. They're all in that rack over there. It's all NHL jerseys here, and AHL jerseys have got in the rack.
Thoughts on Blue Jackets draft so far?
I will be doing videos on each team and how they did. For Columbus, I think they did well yesterday, picking up a couple of defensemen with their first 2 picks. So I obviously addressing what they feel is a weakness in their prospect pool. And Juracek was as high as second on elite prospects list for potential 2022 draft picks. So yeah, I think they did well.
Does Shannon have a Cleveland Barons jersey?
Yes. Of course. Who doesn't have a Cleveland Barons jersey? Doesn't everybody have a Cleveland Barons jersey?
Let's see. Somebody said they lost track of how many jerseys you have. Shannon's lost track too, so it's okay.
I've lost track.
Do you think Patrick Kane takes a hit this season without DeBrincat?
Kane's an elite talent, so I would look for his goal totals to go up. I would think if he doesn't have anybody on his line that he trusts to pass it to, his goal totals will go up. That'd be my expectation.
When will Bettman accept the Coyotes won't work in Arizona and move the team to Houston?
The only way that happens is if the building in Tempe fell through and there wasn't another suitable location in Arizona for them. There wasn't anybody else coming forward. Outside of that, they're there. Nobody's going to Houston anytime soon.
Did you buy or almost buy a jersey that you forgot you already have?
It's not important.
Yes.
It's not.
And then look, I got a jersey for you. And our boys have a couple of jerseys as well.
So, anyways, it's not as important as.
Luckily, we have 2 teenage boys that can also fit jerseys. So
it's not important. And those All-Star jerseys all look the same anyways. So since the All-Star jersey, that the ones from St. Louis that nobody was buying, they were all on sale for $50. So what I was doing was I was like, I don't have that one. And I'd buy it for like $40. Then it would arrive and I'd go to put it in the collection. I'd be like, oh, whoops.
Gabriel.
Hey, Yvonne.
Yeah.
So it's the All-Star. The All-Star ones are the ones that I was ending up. So that's why I stopped getting them all together because like I don't know. But then they were everywhere and they were like $50 each. So
who's meowing?
What? Okay, here I'll help you.
Pittsburgh teams got themselves into a pickle, picking, and Pickering. I don't want to nitpick, but I'm not sure which hand-picked Pittsburgh pick I would pick to pick up the slack.
He got every cent out of that $10 with that one. That's how
like
you super scout right
wasn't
there.
It?
Oh yeah, the Canucks did pick Elias Pettersson. Yes. They have a Pettersson on the blue line and a Pettersson. Look, it's right on TV. See?
Yep.
Pettersson to the Canucks. We've got 2 Elias Petterssons.
Oh man.
Yes. That's going to drive Shorty nuts if he ever plays for the Canucks.
There are other people that think that's pretty fun too.
That's great.
Woohoo! He did it.
Jack Hughes needed to be a member of the New Jersey Devils.
Now you need another jersey.
So, what jersey number would you give the other Elias Pettersson? And then not only this,
I was going to say,
how would you write his
Pettersson
name?
or Peterson?
How would you have his name? Like normally you'd have like the first letter of their name.
Yeah.
Or I've seen like a full name if it's Mark and Mike and they have the same last name. How did that work here? They'd have to call him by his middle name. I would think that his teammates would have to call him by his middle name. Be like, all right, this is too confusing. Or does he become EP41?
2 Elias Pettersson's better than one.
See, and all I'm thinking is about that meme of we already have one at home. And so like the Kirkland's version of Elias Pettersson. Like my
No
Kirkland
name.
Meeseeks.
This is no name.
This is our Kirkland's version of Pettersson. So Adam Ingram, center, going to Nashville. There's a lot less people in that crowd today. It's a much smaller crowd today.
You're all three Jim? Yep.
Oh, I love that. So could I call you by? Nope, Jim. Okay, then. So Jim, and Jim.
Does Cincy ever win a Super Bowl? Also, do you have any intention of getting a Burrow or Herbert jersey?
I would love to get both. I love both quarterbacks. Honestly, Joe Burrow is a fantastic quarterback, and I really hope Cincinnati wins a Super Bowl with them. I would be absolutely ecstatic. I will go as far as to say yes. If Burrow has the right guys to pass to, Cincinnati should win a Super Bowl in my lifetime. George Figueres going to the Dallas Stars, defenseman at 83rd.
Somebody would like to see the board again.
Oh, that's just the trade board too.
Yep. I wish the Oilers would go back to copper and navy. I've been saying that for years.
Yes.
I would like them to go back to copper.
And I would
like the Kings to go back to purple.
Yes, I've stated it too. I'd love to see that.
I really
Kolanami.
Like Oilers copper. Will Johnny Hockey come home to Philly?
I mean, if Philly really wants to make a huge splash, that would work. So that'd be great. But I'd like to see him stay in Calgary personally. But we'll find out within about less than a week's time.
Vancouver wasted a draft pick on a player they already have on their team.
I hope that Elias Pettersson calls Elias Pettersson to welcome him to the team, and that they have all kinds of really good conversations.
Vegas needs to upgrade goalie bad.
Vegas, I think they believe in Logan Thompson. I think Logan Thompson they see as being that starter for them in the future, or perhaps even him being a 1A, 1B with Leonard. So I think Vegas believes in both goaltenders.
Supposedly Luke Kunin is going to San Jose, making room for Forsberg extension.
I like Kunin, so it'd be a shame if they had to sacrifice him. But of the two, clearly you're going to want to keep Forsberg over Kunin.
How much money have you spent on hockey jerseys? Nowhere near as much as people think.
It's deals. A lot of the time it's deals. There's a lot of times I buy, especially the CCMs, where I'm getting them for like 30, 40, 50 bucks.
And remember, for us, this is our job. And so those are part of our business. So those are business expenses. So it is different than just the average person collecting jerseys.
And then I've got them all now.
It would be Pettersson 1 and Pettersson number 2 on the jerseys.
They have to be thing 1, thing 2 for Halloween, right? I am planning the Petterssons. They have to have a sitcom where like they're not brothers, but they have the exact same name, and they have to work at the same place. Ooh, you could do it like The Office.
The same uniform.
That'd be great. And then just have all the jokes would be about people confusing them with each other, and you'd have to have that canned laughter like from Full House. And there'd have to be the aw moment at the end of every episode where they realize they may be different, but their names make them the same.
Did an NHL GM legit waste a draft pick on a player for a sole reason of having the same name as another player?
No. Elias Pettersson.
Not just some random
Elias
guy.
Pettersson I saw rated at 51st on one of the lists I was looking at yesterday. So, yeah, I mean, I thought it was funny. But, yeah, the Canucks would have picked him not for that reason, but because they feel that he was the best player available.
That is really fun, too, though.
So something's going on with the Kings because they're on the clock, but they're waiting. So something's going on. It's probably trading draft picks. It's one of those trades that a few years ago was driving me nuts. This team's traded a third and a fourth for a fifth and a sixth
got
and
a little
a second
background.
and every team's had
I know,
that.
but I haven't noticed a background that looks anything like that.
Yeah, it's Kings. They do things different in
It's
California.
fun.
You're fun.
I know.
Weirdo.
Who wins the cup next year?
I mean, Colorado could win back-to-backs if they figure it out. Tampa Bay is going to be in the running. I think the favorites to win it are Colorado again.
Do you own a female Solani Anaheim Ducks jersey?
That's oddly specific.
That is very specific. I do not.
No, she does not.
I do have a women's Duck jersey. Shannon got it for me right before we went to Anaheim.
That cost me $20.
Because we went to a
$20.
Ducks game. So I did have a women's Duck jersey. It's the black one with the big
Web D.
Yeah.
It's the regular logo on the front.
Yeah. So I do have, that's my one Ducks jersey. I used to have the eggplant one, but that one's
Didn't I get you the Mighty Wing?
Oh, I think you got one that had a name on it. So I was
No, I didn't get a Mighty Wing with a name on it. I would have been so excited.
Maybe
to have a Wild Wing with a name on it.
We haven't separated all of my jerseys out since the move, so I don't know all my jerseys.
Oh, that's easy.
So
enough. I don't think I have
pick Vancouver just used on Elias Pettersson again was traded to Vegas, then to Ottawa, and then back to Vancouver. What a journey!
Yeah, and that's the pick that a lot of people or no, there was a pick that Vancouver got back that was their own that people were like, oh, they're looking for an offer sheet. Not necessarily. You're just looking for draft picks.
Favorite hockey movie?
If Happy Gilmore qualifies, it's Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore's the greatest. Just for, do you always carry a puck around? Yeah. And answering it like, don't you? I mean, you carry a puck around. So, yeah, Happy Gilmore, if that qualifies, is a hockey movie because it's great.
Most expensive hockey card you own?
Well, I don't own a Gretzky rookie. I don't own a Lemieux rookie or a Patrick Roy rookie. I don't own anything that's really super duper expensive. The most valuable one might have been the redemption card for Eichel that I got through Tim Hortons, but I don't know how much that's worth anymore either. I want to say my coffee rookie might be the most expensive that I have. Might be.
I like the move down trade by Toronto.
Saves them some money on Mrazek. Makes a lot of sense.
As a Coyote fan, Logan Cooley looks emotionless about this draft. Concerning it all?
No, Cooley knew he was getting drafted by Arizona. I think it's just a matter of the draft's not really all that exciting once you've been drafted, I wouldn't think. So you're probably thinking of other things. There's probably a lot on your mind too when you get drafted.
It could be quite nerve-wracking being in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And
a lot of reasons totally why the body language might not be all that encouraging from a player. I remember when Jared McCann got drafted by Vancouver and Canuck fans went nuts. Like, he didn't seem happy about us drafting him. And yet he came to Vancouver and he played. So I don't read too much into the body language.
Somebody's asking what's the first game you went to?
That would have been Montreal versus Vancouver in 1981, I want to say. Guy Lafleur didn't play that game. Montreal won the game. I think the final score was 4-1. And there was a lady sitting kitty corner from us who was ringing a cowbell the entire game.
Cowbells are the worst thing ever at a game.
Every time Stan Smeel touched the puck, she banged that cowbell and yelled, "Go Stan!" And by the end of the game, I was kind of rooting for Montreal because
cowbells are horrible.
I had a headache and so did my dad. It was just awful.
Shannon is old. You are correct.
Yeah. Yeah, if my first game being 1981 doesn't tip anybody off.
What's your favorite hockey game you've ever seen, either live or on TV?
Oh, that I've ever seen. I would say the Canucks and Rangers, 1994, Game 5. I was sure the Canucks were done in Game 5. I was recording it on the VCR because it was the last game of the year. I was trying to start this thing where I would record the last game of every season. And then the Canucks won the game, and I was so absolutely thrown by that. It was the most amazing moment I'd ever experienced as a Canuck fan. Because, I was pretty sure they were out in 5. So that was a great game.
Shannon is stinking old. That's my mom.
See, it's just your mom can say that because she's so young and youthful.
That's true.
So, I mean, she did have you. And look how young and youthful and beautiful you are. Yeah. So clearly, that apple didn't fall far from the tree. We should swap
sweaters. I don't know how well this will fit him. I mean, I'm not saying anything about Shannon, but I don't know how well.
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
A women's small. I don't know that he quite has the.
Remember when I accidentally ordered the women's jersey and I tried it?
Yeah.
And it just, there was a no.
It's flattering. It really accentuates.
Yeah, it just didn't. I thought, well, can I get away with this? And I tried putting. I'm like, nope, I can't get away with this.
The women's jerseys
don't have an hourglass shape.
Fit quite different.
Especially the Reeboks.
Yes, and this is a Reeboks. I don't know.
I think that one cost me $12.
Probably it was something really cheap. There was a group of.
It's all through full moon jerseys on eBay. They had a bunch of women's jerseys, so I just kept getting ones for her. Just I didn't get Philly or anything that's orange because she won't wear the orange jerseys.
Top time. Women's jerseys are much shorter. I don't know if you guys. Yeah, you can't even see the bottom of my jerseys right there. They're much shorter, which is nice because the men's jerseys almost go down to my knees. So I definitely prefer the women's.
Oh, Boston's up.
Just because I'm not tall.
Now, is Boston going to use the pick or are they going to trade it? They're going to trade it, aren't they? They're going to trade it
so
for like
hard
the rights
to find authentic vintage jerseys.
It is getting much more difficult to
just
find
in
the
the past couple years.
Because CCM lost the rights to produce them. Years. And Adidas and Fanatics don't make them like CCM did. CCM just kept making the vintage jerseys because they sold. I don't know why Adidas and Fanatics don't, because honestly, if they made CCM level, quality jerseys in the classics, they would sell like crazy. I'm not sure why they don't do it.
What can we expect of Montreal, considering that Petrie is going to get dealt? Okay.
Montreal, I don't expect them to be back in the playoffs this coming year, but they're going to be more competitive, and I think they're going to be more entertaining under Marty St. Louis. Maybe they'll be that team that they lose a bunch of games by scores of like 5-4 and 6-5. Could be a lot of fun to watch, though. I feel bad for their goaltending.
Michael Milne, Minnesota. There you go. How do announcers differentiate between two Elias Petterssons? We'll find out.
They'll have a nickname. When we had two Greg Adams in Vancouver, you had Greg Adams and Greg C. Adams. So what they did was Greg Adams in Vancouver, they just started calling him Gus. So you had Greg C. Adams and then you had Gus. So they'll be a way of differentiating them if they both play.
Favorite official jersey maker through the years?
The consistent quality of CCM is hard to argue with. CCM, just the consistent quality. Starter, there were problems with the logos. Reeboks, the pulls and the Reebok premiers are absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. It's so easy to snag your Reeboks. The Adidas, there's things with the new prime green where the logos are a little
prime green. I really don't.
But yeah, nice. So I would say CCM is consistently the best quality.
My favorite are the Reeboks for women's jerseys. Reeboks are definitely my favorite. They fit the best. And they don't have the crappy logos, but I like the logos on Adidas, but I don't like how Adidas fit at all. They're really, really long. They're really long.
It's one of the reasons why when people say, well, I thought I was getting the on-ice material. No, an on-ice jersey is not this tight.
No.
The on-ice jerseys that the players wear are nowhere near this because you can't get equipment underneath this. I couldn't get for hockey. If I put hockey equipment on, I'd have to be wearing a 52 or 54, and then it'd be down to my knees.
That would be really.
So the fit is completely different for on ice. I just, again, the part I don't understand is, so why have a fight strap in a jersey that I can't get equipment underneath? Am I going to start random fights and I'm going to be really glad that I have a fight strap so a guy can't jersey me?
I know you.
I understand that we're Canadian, but we don't randomly jersey each other in the streets. Although I am perfectly in favor of that becoming a thing where guys are randomly jerseying, as long as they're both agreeing on it beforehand. You want to go, it's go time, and you just grab, pull, and hit.
May have missed it. Who is on the Devils jersey? Also with Nemec, Casey.
Nemitz.
Oh, that's right. Casey being picked. Do you think it's more likely Severson gets moved?
I think Severson fell out of their favor as the season went along. Severson, I like Severson, but he had a rough year. So yes, I would think that they're looking at revamping their blue line. Nemitz, I think, is going to be a better defenseman than Severson, but not yet. So Severson might stay for another year in New Jersey, but they're definitely trying to revamp that position.
I have very few jerseys that have player names on them. I have a couple, but I don't have very many. But most of mine are nameless because Shannon's able to find them for ridiculously cheap. I know I have a Line A jersey.
That was like $13.
Yeah, both Adelaide and I got a Line A.
Yeah, I think it was like $12.99 US for that jersey.
I know I have a few others with names. I don't have very many name jerseys, so because the women's jerseys, especially the Reeboks, the women's small go on like super clearance a lot of times. So Shannon's able to find them for $20 or less.
Number 93 pick, Marek Alscher.
Who do you think are the best players available?
At this point, it's anybody's guess. We're down to pick number 94. So again, once the draft has been done, then we'll get into who the best players are that are available. Now, of course, free agency is coming up. It's gonna be a whole different question when it comes to free agency about who the best players are that are available.
Oh, somebody's asking you how much you think Line A should be paid per season.
I think the qualifying offer is $7.5 million. Honestly, it's hard to argue down from $7.5 million when you look at some of the comparables and some of the money that's going around. But as a restricted free agent, if he was willing to take, I would say the same amount of money that Besser got from the Canucks, if he was willing to take that amount of money. But again, does he want long term or short term? So if he had like a 6.5, maybe even 7, even argue $7 million a year, over 3 or 4 years, I think that'd be optimal. But I don't know how much he's asking for, and with his potential, his ability to score goals when he's hot, he could very well be worth more than that.
When do we see ads on jerseys?
They're this coming season. Every team is allowed to sell one ad spot this year. And it's going to be like here on the jersey. It's supposed to be small. We're not supposed to see it on the retail jerseys at all. That's not supposed to happen. And even if they could, I don't know how manufacturing wise you'd have to have those ads then overseas, and you'd have to have them because most jerseys are made like a year in advance.
But the ads
I'm not
can
sure.
Just be a patch.
Yeah, but nobody's going to put an ad on their jersey.
No, but for the players, it could just be a patch.
Right. But I'm just saying that really like for us at the retail level, nobody's going to be like, I'd like to get the ad.
Right. Didn't they say that the ones
they're not supposed to have
it? So, but for them players, it'll just be a patch.
Jeremy Langlois going 94th overall to the Arizona Coyotes as they take all of the draft picks. But we're into the fourth, almost into the fourth round now.
Where do you get jerseys for under $20?
Full moon jerseys. Full moon jerseys. There were times too before.
And there was times that from that Marks in the States.
You mean Dick's?
Dick's
Sporting Goods,
not Marks.
Dick's Sporting Goods, yeah, and Dick's then full moon jerseys has them on for cheap. There were times too before they got really popular that I would find them for. They have them for auction.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd get like one for $20. It was auction. I got a Hamonic Islanders stadium jersey that I got for less than $20. There was a Penguins jersey too. I got dirt cheap because it was that way. So when I was initially putting the collection together, I was really, really cheap on all of them. It was just, I don't have that. It's $20. I'll pick it up. And then that padded out the collection quite a bit.
Do the Stars have enough cap space to make a move for a second line center?
The issue that I would have with that would be you have to make sure that you know what Ottinger and Robertson are going to get, because you don't want to be in a position where, like, Chicago picks up Seth Jones and they sign him to a big deal. Now they've moved to Brinkett. Does one lead to the other? Maybe. So you don't want to be in a situation where you're bringing somebody in and paying them money, and then that might cost you the ability to hold on to, say, Ottinger, right? So you've got to keep your eye on the big picture, and ideally Sagan's that second line center. Ideally, Sagan's the second line center. So, yeah, hopefully they don't need to make any really big moves.
Are all the jerseys on bookmark jerseys real? I
haven't heard of
don't
bookmark jerseys.
know that I've ever heard of them.
No.
If you are questioning whether a jersey or a jersey site is legit, you can email the hockey guy.
The email address is in the
and
description
I
of the
will
video.
help you look at it and
Yeah.
help determine whether they are fake or not.
Yep.
We're pretty good at spotting fakes and fake sites now.
I found the last Nashville jersey that I didn't have. It's one of the very few I didn't have, which is the Reebok white one. And Yvonne and I looked over the listing for it before I bought it, because the price was good. And I thought, okay, so the price is good for that last Nashville jersey I don't have. And then we made sure that it wasn't a fake. It's a Reebok. So
yeah, there. Lars just linked the email address. It's also in the description of the videos, but you can email us. You can email us links for the stores, or we get emails for eBay listings, and can usually tell if they use their actual pictures, because nothing more sad than buying a fake.
I have
fakes are sad.
There will be videos on that this summer. Where I'll talk about
sad.
fakes.
We have a bin of fakes.
Yeah.
Most of them other people have given us, because one day I'm taking all of those fakes and I'm gonna sew them into something, because while you wouldn't want to wear them to a hockey game, they're fun for their fabric and logos. And I don't feel bad about cutting them up, but I'm absolutely gonna do something fun with those. Yeah. Tony D'Angelo was a
0.8 points
PPG plus 30 RHD. Why do you think the Canes sent him to Philly for picks when most players like him would fetch more?
See, with D'Angelo, there's two things. First off, he wanted a $5 million a year contract, which is apparently where Philadelphia came in. Teams might be nervous about giving him that amount of money, just given his track record and all of that, right? He played really well in Carolina. Does it mean that he plays really well the next place he goes? In Philadelphia? Not necessarily. He had a rough... All the Rangers issues around D'Angelo and how he left overshadowed the fact he wasn't playing very well either. So is it a 1-year thing? Is this going to be how he performs from here going forward? That's probably the best offer Carolina had, and they may not have wanted to put $5 million towards him and have lost somebody else. So it gets kind of tricky.
I know you don't really report on assistant coach hires, but the Red Wings hired
Bugner.
Oh, okay. As coach, your thoughts?
Bugner's fine as an assistant. Bugner, good track record overall. And I don't blame him for how things went down in San Jose, so I'm glad he found another job. One of the reasons I don't get into all the assistant coaching stuff is because there's a lot of it. This time of year, there's a lot of assistant coaches, and it feels like coaching staffs are getting bigger and bigger all the time. So it kind of ends up being wall-to-wall assistant coaching discussions.
Shannon has changed jersey mid-video before. Not on camera, but...
Dun, dun, dun,
Make it in the super chat.
No. Nope, not going to happen.
Can Oilers bring back the gear jersey in copper? That would be awesome. I love the gear jersey. The gear jersey is beautiful, and in copper, that would be amazing. I would really like them to go to copper.
But I'm pretty sure McFarlane owns that logo.
That would be awesome.
McFarlane designed it, so I'm pretty sure if they use it, that they have.
I do really like the gear jersey. That one's fun.
So they're up to pick number 100 now. Garrett Brown went 99th to the Winnipeg Jets. See, and you said Garrett Brown wouldn't go to the Jets. I told you.
Dork. Should other GMs have Yzerman warning on caller ID at this point?
You would think.
Really, Husso feels like a steal for a third-round pick.
Well, Husso was going to be a UFA next week, anyways. So, I think St. Louis got very good value for somebody that they weren't going to be able to keep, anyways. Normally, you don't see a third-round pick going.
How on earth is Husso traded so cheap?
Because he was a free agent in a few days. So it's either you trade him or you get nothing for him. So it's a good deal for St. Louis. Because I wrote 7th because I accidentally read it was a 7th because that's usually what happens.
Do you think the Leafs should sign Kemper?
If they can't sign Campbell, Kemper would be the best backup spot for him. But again, for Toronto, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with their goaltending altogether. They've just traded Mrazek, and then so I mean they've got to get a couple of goaltenders, I would think.
Why do most of these guys have the same haircut?
Because kids,
there's a ton of them.
Kids cut their hair the same.
Haircut. I mean, they have the very similar hair to Gabriel.
Yeah,
they all have the same hair.
Yeah. Well, and that's Tyson Jugnoth. Jugnoth has been known for a while for his hairstyle choices. You didn't know that? I mentioned that to you yesterday. Remember, I said we haven't seen. Simon Forsmark going to Carolina at 101. I had him going 101 in my mock draft. See, all of these are exactly correct with the mock draft that I did into the 4th round.
Right.
Sadly, I didn't film that, but so far I'm 100% on this one.
Spot on.
So, yeah, I'm really sad that I didn't do the. That would be really funny to after the draft do a mock draft that exactly matches what happened in the draft.
The jersey changes are for the members only stream.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that in a member stream either. I wouldn't do that in a member stream. Nope. You guys can become patrons and members if you'd like. That's great. We have the live stream every Monday. There will be no nudity in those live streams. I promise you. That is the selling point. That is the selling point. All clothing stays on. Jersey changes would be off screen entirely. We could put up that weird, we're having technical issues. We'll be right back with like a cuckoo bird, animated cuckoo bird on the screen.
Do you think Blackwood finally and consistently proves himself this upcoming season? It's make or break for him and the Devils' goaltending situation.
And that comes up, and the goalie just gets drafted by New Jersey, Tyler Brennan, who was seen as potentially being the best goaltender in the draft. So clearly New Jersey wanting to beef up their goaltending ranks a little bit. Brennan may end up being a steal at this point in the draft, 4th round pick. Skinny kid, lanky kid, but tall. And that's the whole thing with goaltenders. So, yeah, if Blackwood has another off season, they have options. I didn't mind Nico Dawes either. I think Nico Dawes, there's potential there too.
The nudity is the original reason why I started watching this channel. Boy, was I disappointed.
People are very often disappointed. It's just like when THG means the Hunger Games normally when you're putting THG as your hashtag. So when I hashtag THG on TikTok, I'm like, somebody's going to be really disappointed.
When you need them. Oh my goodness.
Kenny Connors has gone to
really
LA.
Really sidetracked the chat here.
Kenny Connors to LA. That doesn't sound like a California type name. Kenny Connors should be a NASCAR driver. I really
like NASCAR driver.
Yeah, his hometown is Glen Mills, Pennsylvania.
Does Shannon speak French?
May we Eska?
He speaks enough that he knows how to slaughter it. He does, yes.
Qu'est-ce que fait?
We both know French, so we don't really use it much anymore.
De la pied à la gauche de la doigt.
What? Are you giving directions for something?
Mon Dieu.
Oh.
Stephen Halliday going to the Ottawa Senators. Detroit is now on the clock at 1:05.
I feel like Kyrou could be another steal by Nil. Really like that pick for Dallas. 2 righties today as well.
Yeah, Christian Kyrou, that could be a very good pickup for them. Anton Johansson going to the Detroit Red Wings on defense. See, they pick up their Swedes
Why the
too.
Devils jersey? And who's my favorite Devils player? I don't have a favorite Devils player.
Yeah, you do.
I don't have a favorite player for most teams.
Ken
other
Danico,
than
you like
I would
bald guys.
usually say the goalie. I like watching goaltenders and I like their fun helmets.
So you go, Mackenzie Blackwood.
I picked this jersey because I haven't worn it before and it's fun.
I picked Coyotes because they have half the draft picks. So I'm like, sure, yeah.
I almost did, but then I was like, no, I think I've worn my Arizona one.
All right, Buffalo's on the clock.
Recently.
At 1:06.
I don't wear jerseys very often, but
But you could, though.
I could.
I've given you enough jerseys that you could wear jerseys often.
Shannon doesn't have hockey fights. Most normal people don't. That's not normal behavior.
Yeah, I've never been in an
That's
actual
not-
fight when
That's
it comes to
not
any kind of hockey. Closest I got was my friend
normal.
Jeff and I used to go back and forth, and there was one floor hockey game where we started to actually kind of rough each other up, and everybody else thought we were kidding until one of us kind of threw a punch to the other, and they're like, all right, everybody just separate, knock it off. He was the goaltender, and I mean, it's my job to cross-check the goaltender. I'm supposed to be getting a goal. So I cross-checked him, and he was in net, and for some reason he took offense to that.
Shannon,
So
you're not.
There's a teacher right there. It's in school. I didn't say it was a big deal. I didn't when I was 15. I played a little different than I do now. I was a little more competitive. Nowhere near like that anymore. Not my fault he couldn't take a cross check.
Thoughts on the Canucks drafting another Elias Pettersson?
I think it's great, honestly. And if he can play, it's fine. It's not the first time we've seen two players with the same name in the same organization. As I mentioned before, it's not even the same time we've had two Canucks with the same name. We had Greg Adams and Greg C. Adams. So as long as he can play, that's fine.
Do retail jerseys have the fight straps? Depends on the jersey.
The
Adidas have fight straps.
Reebok Premiers don't. Reebok Authentics do. If you
fakes,
I've seen
usually have a fight strap. They're really crappy fight straps, but fakes have fight straps.
We'll go through it when we do the video on fakes versus real.
We could totally do that because we have
the fight straps. The fight straps are just awful.
They're weird. The fake fight straps are made out of a totally different kind of material. Even
Mason Bowpit. I wish his name was Ballpit. He's a goaltender too. So again, goaltenders in this year's draft. You're going to see a lot of guys getting drafted we may not hear a lot about because it wasn't considered to be a really strong draft for goaltenders. So this is going to be one of those we're looking for needle in a haystack kind of situations.
Do you think the Bolts getting Isaac Howard at 31 was a steal? Genuinely curious to hear your thoughts on the pick now that they have Hagel and Paul.
He was ranked to go higher than 31st. So the fact that he dropped to 31st, there's two ways to look at it. Either you're getting a guy who's a steal that other teams overlooked, or he dropped for a reason. So on draft day, I usually look at it as, you know what, he was ranked to go higher. I consider that to be a steal. But it would be countered as well with, well, he dropped because. So it really depends on how you feel about it. I view it as a steal.
Do you have any OHL jerseys?
Yes. In fact, this week I got a Hamilton Bulldogs, their third jersey, which is very much like the parlay jerseys that the NHL's had for All-Star. And I've pre-ordered the Hamilton Bulldogs throwback to the NHL jersey that Hamilton had a century ago. So I'm looking forward to that. But the pre-order doesn't arrive till October.
Thoughts on the Kyrou pick for Dallas? Does he have any chance to make the roster this year, or does he need to develop?
Oh, he would need to develop. In terms of players who are going to play this year in the NHL, that'll be your early picks. Shane Wright has a good chance of playing. Slafkovsky has a good chance of playing. Outside of that, there may be a few guys that get into the lineup, but yeah, he'll be given the right amount of time to develop. He won't be in the lineup right away.
Are you watching Shoresy? We did watch Shoresy.
We watched Shoresy. I'm going to watch it again. Absolutely loved Shoresy. Fantastic show. I will be doing a review at some point on here. Maybe I'm waiting until I get my Blueberry Bulldogs jersey before I do the review for the season. That'd be so much fun. If there was one show that I would love to just be on for like a second, just to be on, it would be either Shoresy or Letterkenny. Just to be in there. I don't even care. Wayne can punch me in the head as I'm walking by. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's good. I don't care.
Has Toronto picked yet?
Toronto picked in the last round. I'm trying to remember, and they've picked, I think, a couple of times, but they were rushing through the picks. So I've actually muted the TV. I'm just looking who's getting picked. Daniil Orlov going to New Jersey at 110. Kirill Dozhenkov going to Columbus at 109.
What about a corner gas cameo?
They're
Well,
not
they
filming
don't
anymore.
film anymore.
I
like
think Brent
though.
I think Brent would be down for that.
Yeah, you and Brett Butt would be really funny together.
Brent and I
You
have the
would.
same sense of humor.
Yes, you guys would be really funny.
We have very, very similar same sense of humor. I used to watch Brent's stand up before he had corner gas. I would watch Brent's stand up, and then I would quote his stand up for years. I still quote his stand up. I know when he talked about being rich and how, if I have more than $1,000 in the bank, I kind of start pushing people around, getting full of myself. So I'm like, yeah, that makes some sense. And just how if he was a billionaire, he would just buy Red Deer and move everybody out. And then just they look at what's he doing in there? What's he?
Your own golf course and a gas station. Do you listen to any hockey podcasts?
I really don't listen to podcasts.
Shannon's whole life is already hockey.
Yeah, I don't listen to podcasts very often.
So he doesn't really listen or watch other people.
So like today's Friday.
Hockey. That's
today's
already
Friday.
What he does.
So as soon as this is done, the boys. I'm going to be watching the boys. Well, as soon as this is done, I'll be doing reviews of what happened at the draft and the trades. But I'll be watching this week's episode of The Boys that dropped. She will not be watching it.
No, I am not watching that show.
She's not. I've been telling her what's been going on this season, and that's convinced her it's not her kind of show.
I'm good.
So my friend, I'm trying to get her into watching it because I think she'd enjoy it, but she fell asleep during the first episode, which is alarming because you shouldn't be able to fall asleep during that.
Is The Boys worth watching? Well, in my opinion, no, don't do it.
It's graphic. So I'll just say that it is graphic and it is shocking, but it is so well acted. And Butcher is one of the best flawed heroes I've ever seen in a TV show. It is so well done. You end up hating Homelander so much, and it's great.
There's a bunch of people saying they really like it.
It's a really good show, and it's satire and it's funny. And I don't think it's meant to be taken seriously. There are people who take it too seriously.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people on here saying they like it.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Definitely not my kind of show. So.
Ooh, Amadeus Lombardi.
That's funny.
Oh, see, Amadeus. And is he drafted by a team I cheer for? No, it's Detroit. Now I have to cheer for Detroit. Because every time he goes on the ice, you know what I'd be doing? Amadeus, yep. Amadeus. Okay. I'm old. That's a reference back to 1986. There was this band Falco, and they released a song called Rock Me Amadeus. It's about Amadeus was Mozart. That was his middle name. So it was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. And he had a sister, Salieri. She fought in the wars. She was actually the one that was in on the War of 1812. Shannon. So back in 1812.
Salieri is not related to Mozart.
So it was the sister.
And was a male. No. Don't listen to Shannon. Brain cells will die.
Amadeus. I'm sorry. I did not know there was somebody named Amadeus in the draft. I have wasted my life. Why did I not do a prospect video on Amadeus?
Him, guys. No.
No.
See, no. I'm not. Nope.
1765. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is born.
We're not encouraging this behavior.
At the age of 5, Amadeus writes his first
alternative history with Shannon. Nope, we're not doing it.
Mozart becomes a Freemason. He did though. That's in the song. The song wouldn't lie to me.
Did the word art come from Mozart?
Oh goodness. Yes, and Moss as well. Because Moss art is how it started, because M-O-Z is Moss in German, so it's Moss art. So it's not a very well-known fact. There you go. Now you know.
Separate video on coolest names of the draft.
Oh man, there are some really good ones.
Kind of thing.
There's some good ones, starting with Rutger McGroarty. That name is fantastic. And
in true Shoresy fashion, whenever Yvonne starts to talk, you should immediately interrupt with "huh." He does. Don't worry. Don't you worry.
It is one of the best things in that show is that he whatever. Everything in Shoresy is just great.
Yeah. Don't you worry.
Get some W's, boys.
Shannon's got that covered.
Hey, Amadeus, you're going. Amadeus. He's got to be a character in Shoresy next season, right? That'd be great. That's a great name for a kid, Amadeus. That's right up
I
there with
w-
Spartacus. I hope he has a brother
I
named
wish I
Spartacus.
could speak Canadian. I can't say the word out. It's not out. Nobody said, well, maybe
You just said it weird.
Newfoundland.
It's out.
I don't say it weird, but I certainly don't say out.
You
It's
say it
out.
weird. She doesn't say it right. It's out.
You say it wrong.
You say it wrong.
I don't. We're saying the same thing.
You know, it's funny. When I worked at a call center, I would talk to Americans all day, and then I would come home and I would listen to my ex and the kids talking. I could hear the Canadian accent for like the first 10 minutes after I came home, and then it would kind of be like it would fade.
Singing Canadian bacon. We've got ways to make you pronounce the letter U.
Because I didn't think of it, but you talk to Americans all day, and then you come, okay, yeah, no, I can hear it. There's definitely some words we say differently.
We pronounce U's. OU is pronounced differently in Canada than it is in the States.
Yeah, that is true.
Thoughts on the Sharks trade of Leonard to Nashville for Kunin?
I like Leonard. That being said, Kunin, obviously the better player overall. Nashville in a position where they need the cap space if they're going to bring back Forsberg. Yeah, we'll see how that works out for everybody involved in the trade. But yeah, it's one of those ones where I hope it works out for both. Angus Booth, now remember the LA Kings, number 116.
What role did Amadeus play in the War of 1812?
See, and I was starting that with, okay, so Salieri, who is his sister, she was part of a Canadian garrison. Now, that Canadian garrison was based in Vienna. So the problem they had was really a matter of logistics. So in order to get the arms from Vienna over to Ottawa, which was the capital of Canada before it became Toronto, it's what are you laughing about? So it was 1811 that she was trying to bring the guns over, and the Americans stopped her, and they took the guns. And that's what led to the Second Amendment, which was right before the War of 1812. Was that they got all the guns from Salieri, and they wanted to keep them. So they said, fine, we'll give everybody. No, the Americans took them from Salieri. And then they gave them out. They're like, all right, everybody gets one. Everybody gets. Well, that's not allowed. We'll fix that. We'll fix that now. We'll fix it. Everybody gets one. So they're all Salieri's guns, and hide them because the Canadians are coming. And that's why there's that famous William Tell with the Canadians are coming. The Canadians are coming. William Tell did that. That was when he shot the apple off the kid's head.
Shannon, oh my gosh. Okay. My favorite Canadian pronunciation is progress.
Progress.
Okay, I was going to say, how do the Americans pronounce that?
Progress. People get thrown when I say decal. So
I see that one. How do they? That's one I forget too.
Decal.
Oh, that just sounds weird though.
They say decal.
That doesn't
make decal.
Sense for how it's spelled either.
And when I'm spelling it,
down all of Canada today. Yep, and we
are not Rogers. So anybody with Rogers, you're gonna have to watch this later. Did Boston make up that kid's name, or did somebody have like Dan's Lochmelish or Lochmelis? I don't know. Don's means in French, so I don't know. So St. Louis is on the clock, and when they show it flashing like that, that means something's going on.
Hello, Shannon and Yvonne. Nice jersey, Shannon.
I do like this one. This is one of my favorite Hockey Fights cancer. Thankfully, the person that shipped it to me, it wasn't his size, or else it might have got lost in the mail. So if it had been his size, he probably would have said, I'm sorry, it got lost in the mail. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I don't think he's on here. I haven't seen him. After that, Vienna sausages were formed.
Well, yeah, I mean, Vienna sausages were, back in.
Yeah, they're on the fourth round now. Oh, my nose really
Sorry. Was it 1904 that the Vienna sausage was created? So after the shooting of Kaiser Wilhelm, that was in 1902, wasn't it? And then, because the Greeks threw everything off when they stole the calendars in 1812. That's why the War of 1812 lasted 4 years, because nobody knew what time it was. Otherwise, it would have ended much sooner. Dork. I'm not a dork. You can't call me that. We talked about this in therapy, and the doctor told you. She looked you right in the eyes. And then you smacked her. And I thought that was incorrect. That was an incorrect way of handling things. Oh my gosh, so did the police.
Oh, my goodness.
And then you smacked the judge. And then I'm like, I have no idea.
Don't listen to him. He's a dork. Oh, my goodness.
Minnesota Wild are on the clock. Who do you think they pick?
I have no idea.
See, our Arseny, I'll just call him Arsenic Coleslaw, got taken by St. Louis. Koromislav. It's easier to just say Coleslaw. Ryan Healy ends up going to Minnesota at 121.
So violent. Don't listen to Shannon. I don't. Guys, the confidence in his voice, I believe every word. You know, this is how he talks to our kids too. And so frequently I get our daughter, who is 9, Mom,
Pink cows.
is this true? No,
When
Mom,
she was 3, I convinced her that strawberry milk that you get, the flavored strawberry milk, came from pink cows. I said that's where the chocolate milk comes from brown cows and the strawberry milk comes from pink cows. So she was looking for pink cows.
She was. We were driving and she wanted to know where the pink cows were. And so then I had to text Shannon, she believes you. She's not old enough to know. Don't trust anything you say.
See, but I'm
She
teaching
now
her
knows.
not to trust everything she hears.
And it works pretty well. She now does not trust a thing that comes out of Shannon's mouth. Comes to ask me.
Oh, Hildeby. Hildeby ends up going to Toronto.
The boys, on the other hand,
so there's a
think
goaltender for
Shannon
Toronto.
is hilarious.
So Hildeby got passed over last year in the draft. Was seen by hockeyprospect.com as the best goaltending prospect in this year's draft. But because he got passed over the year before, he ends up dropping to 122. And really, when guys get passed over 1 year in the draft, it's easy for them to pass for the second year. I think that's a good pick by Toronto.
I convinced my now 21-year-old son when he was little that apple turnover trees exist.
Tucker Robertson going to Seattle. He doesn't know who he's shaking hands with, who he's hugging. Just everybody. Just everybody.
Just get in the line. Toronto got their, I think that's supposed to say goaltending, fixed. LMAO.
Well, I mean, at least it's the top. Well, I mean, again, this year's draft was seen as a little bit weaker for goaltenders, but at least it's a good prospect in net, so it's a start. Hildeby has good upside. He really does.
What are the actual chances of a player drafted after the first round making the NHL?
In their first year, it's not very good, but second rounders, I think it's like a 50-50 chance. And then in the third round, each round it does drop. Once you get into the 7th round, I think it's like a 10% chance that you're getting a regular NHLer. It may even be lower than that. But we're already up to pick number 124. And last year, it took forever. Each draft pick took forever. And they had to give full profiles on every single pick. It really felt
huge on him. Oh my gosh.
Because I think they're all 58s.
I was saying probably all like 52s.
They're going no 58s. I would think they're all 58s. That'd be my guess.
Just like knowing our teenagers, can you imagine if you put a 58 on Gabriel?
Most team issued jerseys that I see for
our
sale
boys
are
are both about 6 foot tall, so yes, they tower over us. But that wouldn't work. It would be huge.
Yep. Or Cruz Lucius. I was gonna say Chaz, but that's probably his brother.
What do Canucks do with 2 Elias Petterssons when it comes to the name on the back of the jerseys?
I would think they'll both say Pettersson, and then they'll just
probably
have different
like
numbers.
A middle initial.
But yeah, they teams
might
don't
be E and then a middle initial.
So like it feels like teams have gone away from having an initial and the last name. Edmonton didn't have it with when they had 2 different guys named Russell. Colorado didn't have it either this year when they had 2 guys named Johnson. So you just end up with both of them with Pettersson on the back and pick.
Report is Keith is retiring. Hawks get hit with the cap hit.
Yep, there you go. Oh, Oilers.
Thank you for that, Brett. I did not see that. I thought Shannon was 6 foot. Well, I saw 2 weeks ago, people were guessing Shannon was 4 foot. So
all right, so Duncan Keith retires. I didn't see the Chicago draft table screaming and yelling about it either.
Did
They probably knew it was coming.
ever re-release the Trashers jersey?
Not for a good price. I mean, the Trashers jerseys were just too much. As much as I enjoyed that documentary, I thought it was great, but for $300, they were $300 each. And I was like, I can't spend $300 for a jersey that's more of a it's conversation starter than anything else. When would I wear a Trashers jersey? Where would I wear a Trashers jersey? There really wasn't a lot of reason for me to want to wear a Trashers jersey, so it was too much.
Who are my favorite teams? Well, I like the Canucks and the Jets and the Wild.
And the Bruins.
That's not a thing.
We're together. You have to cheer for Boston.
I don't. And then I really like Vegas jerseys and Kings jerseys.
And Boston.
That's not a thing.
Because Boston jerseys are fantastic. I can go and get Boston jerseys and point out how fantastic they are.
I know you can.
I have a whole section of Boston
Doesn't
jerseys
make it
right here.
True.
They're fantastic. All right, Charles Leddy goes to New Jersey. I don't think he's any relation. 6'1", 186 defenseman.
Shannon 6 foot in heels. Those be some nice heels.
They'd have to be the kind with goldfish in them. Having those heels with goldfish should be nice. That'd be fantastic. And some nice LEDs on the inside too.
My wife is a Red Wings fan by default because we're married. You know, it's fandom is not sexually transmitted, so that's not how it works.
Sure it is.
It's not.
You know what's funny though? I will say this. I've never made anybody else a Boston fan. So for my this is something I've always argued, that if I'm seen as an influencer, why can't I influence anybody to like Boston? It doesn't happen. My wife, Boston, no. Adelaide, it's all Maple Leafs.
Yes.
Malachi, it's all Vegas, and with Gabriel, it's Carolina and Edmonton are his.
Yes.
So I have my influence. If I can't influence anybody in this house, I'm not an influencer on anybody's house, because Boston, nobody likes Boston. I wonder, those shirts that guys had made that said "right" and it had a Montreal logo on them. What do you do with those shirts now? What do you do now? Because they were all like, we've got these Shane Wright shirts for the draft, and it's Montreal Shane Wright shirts.
Huh.
Do they become now like a curiosity, or what do you do? Oh, Montreal just made a pick and they're still on the clock.
Then Shannon would have to be a fan of my teams. Well, he is, but you know.
I like it when Winnipeg and Minnesota win, because then you're happy. I like seeing you happy. You don't care if I'm happy. You boo Boston right in front of me. You laugh every time they lose. I come out of my room and I find a whiteboard she's made up saying Boston are losers, and she's listed off their last 5 losses.
Shannon.
With LOL at the top of it. Wow, they left the tag on his jersey.
Oh.
He had to take the tag off his jersey. That's weird. The tag was down here, not up here.
It has numbers, but no name.
No, they're not doing name bars today. The name bar guys are gone now.
Too long to do all those letters.
Yeah, no name bars today. That has to feel surreal for these guys getting drafted in the mid to late rounds, though, because you're not like the guys who got all the big hype. So you get drafted, you get to go down and meet guys that like are your idols, right?
Yeah.
Be tough not to go around to the other tables and, hey, you're Joe Sakic. Like, it'd be hard not to have that moment of just fanboying out.
Shane Wright t-shirts will end up in Africa. Probably. Actually, that is very
I would want one. I think it would be, I mean,
funny.
Just imagine how funny it would be if then like Shane Wright led Seattle to the playoffs and they had great runs, and like it'd be great to have a Montreal Shane Wright t-shirt, because it'd be funny. Oh, looks like the cable went all funky. No surprise there.
Career video on Duncan Keith.
Yeah, there'll be a career video on Duncan Keith today, for sure. Come on, Shadow.
Are we going to do a meet and greet when you go to Vegas?
We'll figure something out.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we'll figure something out.
If we have to meet in like the foyer of the MGM Grand, we can do that.
I don't know if we'll do a floor hockey meetup. That is kind of tricky when we are in Vegas.
Hey, you've wanted to go see Thunder Down Under. Why don't we have a meetup at the Thunder Down Under?
Wanted to go see that. I prefer when men keep their clothing on.
Funniest thing in Vegas,
like that.
The funniest thing in Vegas was when we were going by. Was it
Shannon
the Flamingo?
Thinks it's way too funny.
We were going by the Flamingo, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
And there was this male exotic dancer type out, and he could tell she was not comfortable, and I thought it was great she wasn't comfortable, so I just kept kind of pushing her in his direction.
Hey, Vaughn,
she needs to watch you guys tonight. And he's like, okay, and she couldn't run away fast enough.
Nope. You don't have enough clothing. Back up.
Nope. Yeah, because he's shirtless.
They do the standing too close and pass. Thank you. Go over there.
It was so funny. It was so cute. She's so wholesome.
Go talk to those other people.
She's so wholesome. So I thought it was really funny. I would absolutely do it. And then I would take pictures of her reaction.
No. We're going to Vegas the first week of August.
Yes.
How old are we? Super old.
865 years of age. If you count it using the original calendars, the Gregorians had the original calendars, and then those were wiped out by the Greeks.
Shannon.
It was a great calendar war of, I want to say the year, but it really depends on who you trust. Do you trust the Gregorians or the Greeks?
Dork.
And then all the Gregorians became monks, so we never found out.
I don't know if Shaw Internet is having trouble. We have TELUS, and we're not having any difficulty, so I don't know. I'm sure
other than the standard stuff we do, because our house, there's weird dead spots in our house. But other than that,
of course, Shannon should not teach history because people would believe him.
Maximilian Kelpinen, that's a great name too. Cameron Whitehead, goaltender for Vegas. So Vegas picks up a goaltender in the 4th round.
How do you feel about Dallas picks?
So far, so good. I like the picks so far for them.
There you go. Shaw Internet's fine.
There you go. I was going to text my mom and say how's the internet, because she has Shaw for her internet.
No, she doesn't. She has TELUS.
She had Shaw.
She has TELUS for every... Shannon.
I don't know. Don't judge me. I don't know how the system works.
We help her.
Hi, Shadow.
She's on our account.
On the phone?
And the cable.
Oh, is that her cable?
Everything. No.
So we pay for her cable too?
Yeah. That's why she messages me every once in a while and asks me to help her with things.
Oh. Because see, I know it's attached to my account because I've paid it through my account before. Yeah. So I throw money at it. So all you need to do is have me like accidentally help pay for your cable bill, and I'll just keep paying it every month because I go in and pay bills through my account online, and I just look and go, oh, TELUS Communications. I'll throw money at that, and then so there you go. Oh, his says Golden Knights on the back. Huh. So if you get drafted by Vegas, it says Golden Knights. They're changing full time. That's their home jersey.
That's fun. Those are so uncomfortable though.
Yeah, they're scratchy.
They're really fun jerseys, but oh my gosh, they're uncomfortable.
They're itchy.
Nope. I really
get
like
itchy
them.
Just looking at them.
So uncomfortable. You have to wear a hoodie underneath those jerseys. And it's Vegas, so you can't wear a hoodie under those jerseys.
Shadow is so big.
Oh my goodness.
Cat. He's a big kitty.
He's a big kitty.
He didn't used to be a big kitty.
He makes all of the other kitties look tiny.
He used to fit in my hand. And this is what happens when you have a kitten you carry around in your hand.
Put the two of us on the newlywed game. We'd win.
Oh, we'd annihilate the newlywed game.
We might know each other really, really well.
Yeah, we would annihilate the newlywed game.
Because we're around each other all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens when you work together at home? You're with each other all the time.
All the time.
Do the kittens and the cats get along? Pretty well.
It's going well.
Do.
Yeah, Azrael just runs up to Shadow. She bites his leg. She sniffs his face and licks his face.
They do get along.
And it throws him off so much because he's had cats hissing at him and swatting him for so long that a cat actually liking him, it clearly confuses him. So he meows at her and runs off. Like, what are you doing? So it clearly throws him off.
They really like Pixel. They hang out with Pixel quite a lot. They like to sleep with her, and they all come into my sewing room and play in there. The more together you are, the more you look like each other. You know, I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an insult, and to which one would that be a compliment or an insult. I'm not positive, but
It's a compliment to you, baby, because you look
because
good.
I look like you.
You
It's a
look good.
compliment to me that I look more like you.
Excuse me.
Shannon.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I am.
No, you're not.
I'm very,
You are
very.
not. Such a
Frederick
boy.
Brunet going to Boston. Alex Bump.
That Hockey Fights jersey looks good with the Arizona logo. It does, doesn't it?
Alex Bump,
There are
drafted
some-
by Philly. Philly drafted Bump.
There are some
That's a great
jerseys
name.
that work really well with the Hockey Fights Canada shirt. Some of them don't work as well, but there are some that are really nice.
Yeah. The Rangers. I like the Rangers.
Oh,
the
man,
black one
I
I have
know
with the
the
Rangers
Rangers.
on the front. Looks
I really like
sharp.
how the Jets works really well.
Jets is
too.
very nice.
That one looks
Yeah.
really nice.
Alex Bump.
Shannon could be your much older brother.
At least I'm not old enough to be your dad. And you're not young enough to be my daughter. Thankfully.
No, not even close.
Thankfully.
Why Azrael? Isn't it some demon's name? It's also from a cartoon.
Yes. And she had a cat named Azrael.
And I've had an Azrael before, and he was a very sweet cat. That was a male cat, Azrael. And Azrael is quite a spaz, so it works well.
She is such a funny little cat.
There you go. See, somebody knew what show it was from. Good job. You get a gold star.
How? Okay, so Komarov I can pronounce.
Oh.
Is that no? So the V would be silent. So it'd be Vsevolod Komarov, right?
I think
it wouldn't be Vsevolod. I wouldn't think.
Vsevolod.
So it'd be Vsevolod Komarov.
That's a fun name.
So the V would be silent, right? I know I'm looking at the globe right now. The V would be silent in that name. I would think. Wouldn't be Vsevolod. That wouldn't sound good at all.
Who is currently Shannon favorite Finnish player that plays in the NHL? Is that Shannon? I don't really pay attention what country players are from, so I am
being put on the
not the best to ask that question. I don't really pay attention where players are from.
Rope's Finnish, I think. I think Rope's Finnish.
Oh, Grady might fall. Grady's gonna fall.
Why are you moving Grady?
Somebody's asking again.
That's Gary Bettman, and it's signed.
Ta-da! There you go.
The board is just trades. So this is the trade board. Vanacek, now a member of the Devils. Husso, now a member of Detroit, and has signed an extension. Vanacek is a restricted free agent, so he hasn't signed an extension that I've seen yet. Tony DeAngelo is now a member of the Flyers. And Duncan Keith has announced his retirement. He's decided he's not coming back next year. So that frees up cap space for Edmonton. It dings Chicago with the cap penalty. Nikita Grabenkin, drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Somebody said the V is not silent.
No. So the S wouldn't. I guess the S would be silent. Would be Vsevolod or Vsevolod. Okay. All right. We'll see.
Either way, I'm sure we're killing it. Why doesn't Edmonton get a cap credit?
The Oilers with the retirement of Keith just don't have to worry about his cap hit next year, but the Blackhawks get that penalty because it was a 13-year deal he signed. So any deals that are those really long-term deals, you end up getting penalized. I would imagine Chicago's probably ticked off that he didn't just go on to LTIR, but it's the same situation as Luongo in Florida. Florida kind of talks him, they basically talked him into retirement. It worked for them and ended up penalizing the Canucks. It feels like it's the same thing with Edmonton with Keith. It doesn't penalize them, but it penalizes Chicago.
Luke Kunin was traded to the Sharks.
Yeah, I haven't seen
a lot of people.
I haven't seen the return
the specifics on that.
Yeah, I haven't seen all the specifics on that. I should go back over to Elliot, and I need the Sharks. There's the Sharks logo.
How do you feel about the moves the Wild have made so far?
The Wild are picking up depth, and they need that. The one thing with the Wild this year is, you've got the cap nightmare that is the Suter and Parisi buyouts, there's not much they can do. It's going to be tough for them this coming season. Okay, so John Leonard and a third.
Heard Penguins trade rumors involving Wheeler, Trocheck, and Kachuk. Have you heard any of that? We don't really listen to a lot of the rumors because generally the rumors end up being just totally made up. And
Trocheck's pending UFA. I can't see Calgary being willing to move Kachuk. So, yeah, I stay out of the rumors as much as possible.
A lot of people do the rumors to get you to click on articles or click on videos, and they're just completely made up. So
it'll start as speculation. That's why I try to avoid the speculative side of it too.
How much longer do you think you'll keep going today?
Well, we were already at the 2-hour mark. I would say by probably 10:30, I would think we could probably shut this down. I could do the video on what's happened at the draft. We're up to the number 138 pick now in the draft. And then, I could do videos on who's got drafted and how each team did. It's going to be, I'm trying to think, do I want to do it by division? Do I want to do it like 4 or 5 teams at a time? And then some teams, of course, had like 3 picks and some had like, over 10.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter of trying to make sure I pace the videos out and all that fun stuff. She's already given me the hug, though. That means she's ready to go. So anytime she starts touching me, that normally means I'm ready to go now. Are you ready to go?
Sometimes
it's like when a kid's been out at the theme park too long and they start coming over and they've got like their ice creams all drippy and done and they've kind of been on all the rides. Well, that's kind of the vibe that you get from Yvonne towards the end of a live stream. Like she's all done. She spent all her money that you gave her and she's ready to go home. So she's kind of like, can we go home yet? Can we go home now? How about now? How about now? I noticed that we can't go. Can we go home now? So yeah, there's a lot of that. There's some weird spelling on that one too. Hividston?
Oh.
Hividston. Connor Hividston. This is going to be interesting.
Looks the Red Wings. How do you pronounce that first name?
Tanias Mathurin. But then you want to put an N in the Tanias Mathurin, but it's not. So Mathurin.
Late to the party. Hello, guys.
Howdy.
Sharks make any moves? Big fan. Hello from Anaheim.
The Sharks acquired Luke Cunnin from Nashville for John Leonard and a 2023 third. John Leonard didn't get used nearly as much for San Jose this past season as I had expected. So with Cunnin, that is San Jose picking up money, Nashville making some cap space.
Your dork flag is really flying high today, Shannon.
It's because you call me a dork. See, now everybody thinks they can call me a dork. It's not right,
It's my mom.
Well, your mom would call me a dork.
Right?
That's accurate.
I think it's genetic. You can tell Shannon has done tech support because he might not know what he's talking about, but he sure sounds like he does.
Is that just
Shannon's
in general?
thinking about it.
Is that just in general?
And it is just in general. Yes.
I mean, I got pretty good. I remember in going back to school, I used to do book reports, and there was a book report. You had to do a book report on. So they gave us like 10 books, and you had to read at least 3 of them and do book reports on them. And I realized with the day to go that I hadn't read a third book. So I took one of the books and I read the story on the back.
Oh, yeah.
I read the synopsis. So I wrote a book report on what I thought happened in the book. And I was right. I got it. Did you ever read Banner in the Sky?
No.
Neither did I, but I got an A on the book report. I was so excited that I got an A on the book report. I was like, oh my gosh, I guessed the whole book. So yeah, that was a good moment. Mr. Lucas, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but my book report, complete BS. I never read it. I just read the synopsis on the back and guessed at what happened. So I was very, very proud of myself for that one. So I've been able to do that for a long time. I could just kind of, I think, yeah, I know what happens in this. So Banner in the Sky, good book. 100% recommend the back of the book.
If that's the worst she can call you, then you're doing something right.
It's the worst she can call me in public. Yvonne calls me things. There's times where
I do not.
we
Shannon.
have discussions,
Shannon.
and
Oh my gosh. He is lying. He's just making stuff up. Don't listen to Shannon.
you know you're saying that in the live stream on my channel, right?
I do know. I know exactly what I'm saying.
So just put that in the quote. We can use that in a trailer for the channel. He's like, don't listen to Shannon. Have that in like bright letters, like you'd see for movie reviews during a trailer. He's lying. Don't listen to him. He's a dork. If his own wife says this, why should we listen to him? You got to get the voiceover guy, though. The movie voiceover guy to do the voiceover for that.
Did you read the back of the book on Yvonne, or did you read the whole book?
I read the whole book, all of it, twice. Would highly recommend.
No.
Jake Furlong, no relation to Edward.
What's going on with Kirill Kaprizov?
Apparently Kaprizov's okay. He's fine. He's at home. There's no reason for panic that I've seen. And maybe if there is, they're not going to say anything publicly. But at this point, he should be free to come over here and play for Minnesota this year. Cameron O'Neill, drafted 143rd overall by the Ottawa Senators, right winger. Vancouver is on the clock. Draft another Pettersson. Do it. Find another Elias Pettersson. Do it. Or find another Hughes. There's got to be another Hughes, right?
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Mine is chocolate chip cookie dough.
Chocolate chip mint.
I really like chocolate peanut butter, but I can't ever find that in sugar-free.
Chocolate mint is fantastic. Have you been able to find that in sugar-free?
No, in sugar-free, I have vanilla, chocolate, black cherry, and maple walnut. Those
Black
are
cherry
the only ones
fantastic.
I ever find. It is really good, but I haven't seen that one for a while.
Because it all sold out.
I don't eat sugar, so. Mint chocolate chip for the win. Butter pecan is great.
And Tin Roof. Tin Roof is excellent. Tin Roof Sunday. There you go. There you go. Get all your purple hair off your shoulder.
Vancouver drafts Sedin Jr. Mint and chocolate, best combo. Peanut butter could never. Oh, chocolate peanut butter is the best combination for all of the things.
Chocolate and mint, I think, is the best
love
combination.
Chocolate and peanut butter.
It's right up there. Although peanut butter and jam's excellent too.
Do you have any Indy Fuel ECHL jersey?
No. I did order. That should have arrived in the States. I think I ordered a Rail Yard Dogs jersey.
Drizzle some maple whiskey on butter pecan, but then I'd be able to taste whiskey.
Yeah, but if it's maple, you don't mind the Crown Royal that's green apple.
But I wouldn't want it on ice cream.
You wouldn't want the green apple
ice cream. Our daughter is not a fan of mint either.
No.
So she does not.
No.
Does not like
mint. And that reminds me of when Crush came out with cherry flavored Crush. Soda. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be great. It was like, I like cherry soda, I like Crush, and it tasted like cough syrup. So my kids got really confused because great.
I love Tiger Tail ice cream.
I took one sip of the cherry Crush and I was like, nope. I handed it off to the kids and they're like, okay, if Dad's not drinking this, what's wrong with it? And it tastes just like cough syrup. So
I do really like Tiger Tail ice cream, and there's a local dairy that makes a really good Tiger Tail.
Rainbow's good too. You had the rainbow. It's pink and green.
I don't generally eat pink ice cream because it's gross.
It's
cotton
strawberry,
candy ice cream is
strawberry.
Gross.
I think it's strawberry lime. I think rainbow is strawberry lime. Good. But yeah, it's pink and green.
The Rangers should try for Kane.
You see, the Rangers need somebody down the middle. They need a center, and Evander Kane's not a center.
Oh, Moose Track ice cream is great.
I don't know if I've had Moose Track ice cream. That's the one that you were trying to sell me on. That's Tillamook, right? Tillamook ice
You can
cream.
they have one, but
Yeah.
you can get it like everywhere.
Because I don't think I've had that one. Graham Sward,
Stars
defenseman.
fan here. Do you trust Jim Nill not to screw the Stars up? Do you think the Stars will be able to get better as long as we have Ben and Seguin? Do you think the Stars are right to draft defensemen then forwards?
You draft best player available with where Dallas is drafting. So if they feel that it's a defenseman, then you go with a defenseman. Ben and Seguin, their cap hits hurt Dallas a lot. They're just the amount of money that those guys are getting, and then you compare it with the output, it absolutely hurts the team. And I don't see Seguin, there's the chance he bounces back, although he's at 30 years of age now. Ben, I don't think is going to bounce back, not offensively anyways. I like the job Jim Nill's done. He's okay. He's pretty good at the draft table for the most part. I trust him. We'll see what he does in the offseason. I think an argument could be made for keeping him. I think you make an argument for how Nill screwed certain things up. I'm on the fence with Jim Nill in Dallas, and I was really excited when they hired him.
My son wants to know, what is your favorite bean?
Mister.
Mr. Bean's great. Garbanzo beans. That's the correct answer.
Refried.
So pinto beans?
I guess so. Anytime I get like burritos, it's like refried beans.
I usually pick black beans, but I like garbanzo beans.
Black's
They're
okay. A little chewy for me. I like the refried. I like the mushy ones. I know you don't like things that are mushy.
I don't.
So makes sense that you wouldn't like refried beans.
I really like lentils, but they're not really a bean. They're a legume, but lentils are fantastic.
Whoa, they're a legume. You got to keep that kind of controversy off the channel. So I'll move out of the way just in case there's people wondering about trades. So I'll move over here a little bit more. See, then that I understand too that 50% of my viewers appreciate it more when I'm not on the screen. So, you know, that definitely helps.
How do you not have a sponsorship with Expo Dry Erase Markers?
I know, right? If you guys knew how many markers he went through, you guys would be amazed. He goes through so many markers. It is ridiculous.
See, you say that.
So many markers. He buys them by the case. So many markers.
See,
we
you
have
say that.
bins.
I mean, I have
bins
these here,
of markers, and he just
this is full.
That's nothing. So many jelly beans.
These are markers here. Let's see
all the markers.
There's a few markers in there.
Jen! He almost knocked over the light.
Yeah, I almost did, but I didn't. So you can stop telling everybody. They didn't knock it over.
He caught it. Don't
Miss
worry.
Fancy Pants. And there's another
More
one.
Markers.
More markers. The Arteza ones don't erase as nicely, so I use those for certain ones, certain videos.
He has a lot of markers. So many markers.
And then I've got another box down here. There's a box behind the computer. I use different markers for different things. The Expo ones I use more in the off season. It's thicker. So during the regular season, when I'm doing all the reviews, I need the smaller
markers are absolutely a business expense. Would we buy this many markers without the channel? Absolutely not.
It's the same as like in school, obviously. Pencils, pens, that's a school expense. It's not tax free anymore though if it's a school expense, is it? It used to be.
No, they still do that.
Do they ask you when you go through the till still?
Yeah. They usually automatically do it if it's the beginning of the school year.
So you don't pay taxes if it's a school expense.
He needs a marker cabinet. He has marker bins.
I have a bunch of marker bins. And then I've got more.
Oh my
bins
gosh,
that
a
I've acquired.
chalkboard. That would be awful. The dust in this room.
God.
And it would get on the jerseys.
So much squeaking.
Oh my gosh, that would be awful.
So much squeaking. I don't like chalkboards. I don't like the squeaking. It really, really irritates me. Almost like typing on a keyboard irritates me. Typing on a keyboard irritates me. That sound of the clickety click.
Yeah.
It drives me.
Do you have a
crazy.
Virginia Lancers jersey from the 1980s?
That's highly specific, and no, I wouldn't have one of those.
Does Shannon play hockey on the PlayStation?
I
rarely.
didn't touch the game this year.
Shannon
I bought
doesn't
it. I
have
bought
much
it.
time for video games.
When it looked like the NHL might shut down, I bought it. And then the NHL didn't shut down, so I have it. I haven't played it. So, Zam Plant. Now, that's a name. That's a player I want to see reach the NHL. Zam Plant.
Thoughts on Tampa's draft? Isaac Howard, Edmonds.
He looks surprised. Is that the best picture they could get of Zam Plant?
You know, his mom was just like, "Oh my gosh, why are you making that stupid face?"
Okay,
I
so
just
we're going to
imagine
take
it
your
being
picture
like-
in just a minute. Click.
I
When
imagine
you
it being
took
like
it,
Gabriel, our middle one. Every time I take his picture, he has to make a stupid face. It is so hard for me to convince him to. Okay, can you please look normal? One picture, you can look like a goof. All the other I'm just one normal picture. So maybe it's like
that
he
was
just
Zam
can't
Plant's normal picture.
Yeah, he just
That was
can't
just one
do it.
normal picture.
So that's how I see it.
It's very
Everybody
Brandon
has
Tanev.
that kid.
It's a Brandon Tanev kind of thing. David Spacek, I wonder if he's related to other
Tanev still
Spacek.
has the best headshot. That one was
yes.
funny.
Yes.
What's
But
the oldest jersey you have?
That'd be the ones I bought first. That'd be like my Minnesota North Stars, Calgary Flames, Vancouver Canucks, Boston Bruins that I bought back in 1991 and 92 would be the oldest ones in my collection. Although there may be other ones I've collected that it might technically be older. I've got a Washington Capitals that might be older.
Who names our animals? The kids. We've all kind of named animals.
I named Azrael. You named Maple.
Yeah, we kind of worked together, and I talked to the kids before I named Maple. And
back in the day, I named Shadow.
Same with the rabbits.
That was my call.
And Pixel, I kind of came up with different ideas, and then the kids kind of decided amongst names that I narrowed down. So we kind of worked together to name them.
Any news released on why Wright slipped down? With Wright, there was two things. One, they didn't see the progression from him this year they wanted to see, and two, his compete level. Every scouting report said, I want to see him try harder. I didn't see the effort from him I wanted to see. His compete level's not high enough. So what they're concerned with is he's too nice. And so those puck battles in the corner, they don't feel like his game will necessarily translate at the NHL for those puck battles for him to be able to win that. That's something that he can fix. That's something I'm sure Seattle will work with him at fixing. But it would definitely put teams off, because in those really tough playoff games, you need that forward that's going to dig in the corners. Stamkos became Stamkos he is now when he started sacrificing the body and doing whatever it took to win. And they didn't see that with Wright this year.
Get a turtle, name him Yocker. Turtles live a really, really long time.
They do. It'd be like me
and
getting
you have
a
to
parrot.
have a big area, I don't think enclosure is the right word for turtle, but I would not get a turtle. They live so long, and you have to have such a big space for them.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead, sweetie.
Thoughts on Georgiev and Francouz?
Georgiev and Francouz.
Yeah.
That'll be fine. Colorado, the goaltending is not what got them to the Stanley Cup. They need good goaltending. They don't necessarily need great goaltending. And both Francouz and Georgiev are good goaltenders. So I think Colorado's in good shape. Plus, they're young goaltenders, too.
Have you ever been to Boston? Nope.
Sadly, no.
And if not, will you plan a trip soon? No.
It won't be soon, but eventually I want to go to Boston. I want to see a game. I really want to see a game in Boston. That would be just great to be wearing a Boston jersey, sitting in Boston, watching a game. That'd be absolutely awesome.
We really haven't been very many places.
No.
We really, really have not. And we have 3 children, so we can't just travel the world.
Well, we could, but we'd rather not with them in tow.
It would be
that'd be a world trip. We'd be
and that'd be
regretting
super
pretty
expensive.
quick. It'd be expensive, and there'd be a lot of
Be
long flights, a lot of bored kids.
What is your saddest lost, wrecked, worn jersey story?
Oh, what about that Kings jersey? That was sad.
Yeah. Before I met Yvonne, the Kings jersey I had with the
The one
The
that
coat of
said
arms on the front?
the Los Angeles at the bottom in that sparkly fabric that if you look at it wrong, it just starts fraying and shredding. That was a sad jersey. So when I met him, I did what I could to it, but where it said Los Angeles on the bottom, it was already pretty sad. There wasn't a lot I could do about that part of the jersey.
This is the purple version, but it's the same thread.
Yes, this was just
This
sad.
shreds. This shreds.
Yeah, all the silver fabric. So when you get these jerseys, you have to
So mine,
be very
the
nice
one I
to
had,
them.
the black one I had, it was shredded.
Yeah.
This was all shredded.
You have to, if you get one of these and it's not falling apart, Scotch guard it right away. First thing before you do anything else to it, Scotch guard it.
And don't put them in a dryer.
Same with the ever. Same with Dallas. It has the same fabric that if you look at it wrong, it shreds. Put Scotch guard on it.
Yeah.
Have to Scotch guard the metallic, the old ones.
What is Kevin Owens doing there?
Adidas don't do that anymore. It's a totally different material. The new ones, it's a knit fabric, so it doesn't shred.
What's it? That's Bruce Boudreau and Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah, it is. Isn't that the jersey that fell apart on a player on ice? I don't know if I've ever heard about that.
Bruce Boudreau's a wrestling fan?
Is he going to powerbomb somebody through the table?
I love Kevin Owens. This is the greatest crossover in history.
Do you have to renew Scotch guard? Yes, but if you don't wash your jersey very often, you don't have to do it very often. The more you wash your jersey, which with those, be so careful. We do wash our jerseys in the washer. You turn them inside out. You can wash them with other things. But with those King jerseys and the Dallas jerseys, maybe even put them on the gentle cycle, but those are jerseys we are more careful if they fall apart. But if you wash them very often, definitely put more Scotch guard on. I've tried doing fray check on them, but you can see it. So there might be a better one to use. I've tried a couple, but to me, you can still see it. And so Scotch guard has worked the best for me because you cannot see. Once the Scotch guard dries, you can't see it. Do you iron on the patches or do you sew them? Didn't see a video on the channel on how to do it. I did do a video on sewing patches on. I sew them on. I do not iron them on because to get them to iron on strong enough, you have to have the iron hot enough, and they are made out of polyester, and I don't want to melt my jersey. It's way too easy to melt the jersey, and I'm not taking that risk with how expensive jerseys are. So I get temporary adhesive spray, and I spray the back of the patch. I stick it on the jersey, and then I sew around it with a zigzag stitch. If you can't sew, it's usually fairly easy to find somebody that can sew on a patch for you, especially if you send them a picture of the placement of it, because if they're not familiar with jerseys, they might not know exactly where it goes. They're pretty easy to sew on. But I sew them on. I do not iron them on because I don't want to melt a jersey.
I'm so happy.
If you don't, then you don't have it attached strong enough.
Kevin Owens on the NHL draft. I didn't think that was going to happen. That's great, though. He clearly really likes Boudreau and vice versa.
Most cherished jersey you've ever had?
Most cherished? I mean, there's ones that have had a personal. I mean, my first Bruins jersey I ever had, that was a lot of fun to wear that, and just right away I looked at myself in a Bruins jersey. I'm like, you know what? I think I look good in a Bruins jersey. Cool. See, I got this now. This can go up in the on that wall. So I'm still working on filling that wall. So now I've got Calgary. So for everybody who says he hates Calgary, well, now I've got Montreal too that's going up. So
did you add the jerseys to your homeowner's insurance? We have renter's insurance because we are not anywhere rich enough to be able to buy a house. I don't know who can afford to buy a house now. We certainly cannot. But yes, the jerseys are absolutely on our renter's insurance. Definitely. Because that's what renter's insurance is for. Your belongings. Renter's insurance is important. Make sure you have renter's insurance. Are you getting 2 Elias Pettersson jerseys now?
I should have 2. Hey, kitty.
Winnipeg Jets bring back a Thrashers influenced jersey, but tweaked to be more modern. That would be awesome.
That'd be
But I
great.
really like the Thrashers jerseys, so.
This is Pixel. She doesn't show up in videos.
She's so sweet.
She's a very sweet
She's
kitty.
my sweet baby.
And
Aren't you? He's a good girl.
and Bear's stalking her. So I have to keep an eye on Bear when Pixel's in here because they fight. So I have to watch.
If you buy a house in a random part of Alberta, they're not that expensive. Right. But then you have to live in Alberta. So
If it was up to me, when I went with my son to Edmonton and they gave us, you take the Greyhound home. And when you're in that prairie and it's just endless nothing as far as you can see, all I said was, if I ever have the money, I want to have a house in the middle of all this nothing and just, way back from the road, way back from the road and just nothing. That would have been perfect. I would have been so excited to have that life.
I would not.
So she said no.
Nope.
I would
I
absolutely
love it here.
I'd be that crazy recluse with a house out in the middle of nowhere, just walled off.
I couldn't do it.
And she said no.
I couldn't.
We could buy friends if that's
Nope.
what you're worried about.
Nope, it has nothing to do with that. I love this area.
I know you do.
Like the weather is perfect. I love that we live by the ocean. We have a gajillion lakes. We can go on a hike just out our door. We're surrounded by forests. If we want to go to the mountains, it's like an hour drive. Nope, we live in a perfect place. So, nope.
I don't know, the prairie.
I would be very, very unhappy in the prairies.
The prairie.
I would
not.
be
I'm not
very-
saying the prairies. I'm not saying we're just this.
Okay, I would be very unhappy
Alberta.
near.
Southern Alberta.
No.
Just
Mm-mm.
just
Nope.
where it's grassland.
I would
where it's
be
the
very,
grasslands.
very unhappy.
It's just as beautiful, and you
In
just
short doses.
you
I
just-
couldn't do it. I
just
would,
stay,
nope.
and you could have like
Mm-mm.
thunderstorms. You'd be able to see all the stars. It'd be absolutely
Mm-mm.
fantastic. You doing Pixel?
No, I would be very, very unhappy. I like it here a
You'd
lot.
be okay.
I
You'd
really
still have me.
No, I really like here. I don't want to live anywhere else. Like here.
It would make it tougher for you though, driving to Vancouver every Friday. that would make things a little more difficult.
Make that a real long drive.
Yeah, that'd be. You'd have to start on Thursday.
My mom says if you leave the area, you have to take me and the hound with you. All right, Mom, where are we going?
Look at that.
No.
Boudreaux is still talking to Kevin Owens. I am far more interested in that
Aw.
conversation than anything else right now. That is
They
that
must
is
know
so.
each other.
He's a big fan of Owens. I think that is such a real fantastic thing to see there, and I think that's awesome. That's great. Kevin Owens is such a nice guy too.
Nova Scotia is beautiful. I would love
we do
to
want to
see
do East
over
Coast.
there.
We do want to do an East Coast swing, which would be Nova Scotia, PEI,
I wouldn't want to
New
live there
Brunswick.
either because it gets a lot colder.
We have great weather here.
See, in St. John's though, you never get above 25 degrees. It's very rare they get above 25.
That part's
It's-
nice.
And it's foggy a lot. It's very
No,
maritime-y.
Alberta's not far in the woods. I wouldn't mind living in the woods. That's not.
We're kind of in the woods now.
We are definitely in
Kinda,
the
sorta.
woods. Alberta's not the woods, it's field. So I would be unhappy. I like trees and mountains and the ocean and lakes. So when you go east on holiday, I will go with you.
That is Yaroslav
to
Spazic's son.
be the nanny.
Christian Kyrou, brother of Jordan.
Sure, my mom would love to go visit Nova Scotia.
Oh, who wouldn't? Nova Scotia. But of course, you'd have
Nova
to go
Scotia,
to.
you can get a house by the water and write a romance novel.
You'd have to go to Green Gables, wouldn't you? You'd
I
have to.
have wanted to go to Prince Edward Island since I was little.
Yeah,
I'm
knew it.
pretty sure
Every Canadian
all
little girl
little Canadian girls
ever
want to go to
wants
Prince
to go
Edward
to
Island.
EI for
Yes.
Green Gable reasons.
Pretty sure
Yeah.
that's a thing.
Yep. So,
We do live in Bigfoot country.
yes.
We absolutely
Not that I've ever
do.
seen one, heard one, talked to
Not.
anybody who's seen one, heard one.
Adelaide's pretty
They're a
sure she
legend.
knows people
They're a
that
legend.
have seen Sasquatch, and we've
Or
got
Sam
the
Squanch.
we've got the statue thingies, the wooden statues of Sasquatch, lots of them. Bigfoot country. This is supposed to be where the Sasquatch lives. We've got the
Well, more towards Harrison.
yes, we've got Sasquatch Provincial Park here.
Harrison's got the statue.
Beautiful. The statue. There's so many statues. There's lots of Sasquatch statues.
Yeah, but there's the big one when you're
Sasquatch
coming
Provincial
into town.
Park is not that far from us,
Nope.
and it's beautiful. It's a very, very pretty area, and there's lots of pretty parks with lakes. And
Let's go back
It's
to
great.
Kevin Owens and Bruce Boudreau. That was awesome. We need more of that. Does that mean like there's other wrestlers there? You're gonna find like Dolph Ziggler's hanging out with somebody too, or there's other Canadian wrestlers too. Ooh, what if an AEW wrestler runs across them? Like in Canadian, do they like have a rumble or?
Where's Shadow? He's laying in the cat tree at the window.
He likes
We
to
have a
be
window
right in
right
front
there.
of the. He likes to be in front of the air conditioner. Jared Wright goes 169th to the LA Kings, right winger, right after Theo Wahlberg went 168 to the Ottawa Senators. All right, that's fun. Yeah, Jericho. Jericho would be funny if it was Jericho.
Keith Owens is apparently Bruce Boudreau's favorite wrestler.
Yeah, Owens and Owens is one of my favorites. I know when we used to go see wrestling, I flipped out when Owens came out and he tried to turn the crowd against him. I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
He made all the crowd boo him really quickly. I was like, nope, not listening. I'm still cheering him. I don't care.
Have you ever tried to put a jersey on the Cats? No, I
value my hands and my jerseys, so both of them would get shredded. That would not go well. Apexel.
Jericho's dad used to play for the Rangers.
He did. Ted Irvine. Yeah. Jericho can skate. Jericho can skate. He can play.
Owens is apparently a Canucks and Jets fan.
See, I knew he was a man of taste. Kevin Owens can hang out with us for a live stream then. That'd be great. How do we set that up? Hey, KO, if you watch this, we'll set that up. That'd be great. I would absolutely love to have Kevin Owens on a live stream. That'd be awesome.
Where did you get that purple Phoenix jersey? My favorite color is purple, and I love the logo.
This one I actually had to order through
know,
Fanatics.
It's nice, eh?
I had to get this one through Fanatics through the NHL store. These are not easy. Or did I go through Sports K for this one?
Wasn't that one Sports K?
No, I think it was the NHL store. I think it was the NHL store, and it wouldn't ship to Canada. Yeah, it was one that wouldn't ship to Canada, so I had to get it shipped to a subscriber that lives in the U.S. who then shipped it to me. So, yeah, and then that's why we give him candy and chocolates, and in return we give him Canadian candy and chocolates.
Yes.
For the service that he provides.
Nice enough to mail us stuff from the States.
And not steal it for himself.
That would cost like $40 to ship to
Because
Canada.
the shirts don't fit him. So he's asked me to maybe buy them in a larger size so they would fit him. I have not done that yet. So.
Can't find a CCM Bruins jersey in my size.
Those are getting tougher and tougher to find. CCMs, there's and so what that does is it opens up the market for your fakes. A lot of CCMs now are fakes or kit jerseys, and there are differences. And when we get into the fakes and the kit jerseys, we'll talk about that because
kit jerseys are definitely different.
And it's a
first
slippery
one we
slope
got that I was just
between.
Like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope between the legit, the kits, and then the all-time fakes. See, they're still talking.
I'm just hanging out.
See, that's awesome. That genuine connection. That's fantastic. And he's wearing the Dusty Road shirt too. That's awesome. That's great.
I live in Detroit. My buddy's always asking me to run stuff over the bridge. LOL. Yeah, it's definitely cheaper to have things mailed to the States.
Yes.
Do you have any game worn jerseys?
No, the closest I have is a Luchuk, like a Luchuk jersey from training camp for the Canucks. And I bought that one for $50 just to look at the ones that these kids wear in training camp and compare it to the real deal. And that was why I got it. So, but it's too big. I can't wear it.
As an owner of a few fakes, I don't understand the hate. I get to rep my team and spend a third of the price. There are many reasons that I don't like fakes. There are many.
They're not always a third of the price either.
No.
That's why I mentioned when I was putting my collection together, a lot of these jerseys are for $20-$30.
First off, if they're passing it off as real, they're lying to you.
No.
Generally, they're made with people that are not paid fair wages, which is so not cool. Yeah, they're taking advantage of people. They're passing something off as being legit, and they are not. When we go to a game, we can usually spot a fake from really, really far away. The colors are almost always off, at least a little bit. They are made very poorly. The fabric is of inferior quality. The stitching is atrocious. They fall apart a lot quicker. The logos bubble. They're just not made very well, and it's sad because they could be made decently. It's so noticeable. And some teams, the fakes are really, really noticeable. Vegas fakes have to be the absolute worst. You can see them from a block away.
With Vegas, oh
my gosh.
Part of the problem with Vegas was that the NHL clearly didn't expect the kind of demand for Vegas jerseys that we had. They were not ready for the start of the season. Vegas fans then were only given the option of picking up fakes because there were no jerseys available otherwise. But yeah, the gold
is either yellow or it's orange. It looks really bad. We see Vancouver fakes all the time. The yellow is usually a wrong color, or the green is the wrong color, and the logo is really bubbly. They are stitched directly on the jersey, not a logo that's sewn on.
This one here, this is my David Clarkson. I got this one from Full Moon Jerseys. It cost $20. And it's a Reebok replica, $20. And the only reason it's $20 is because, it's Clarkson on the back who was gone off the team. So if you get traded players, you can get them for like $20. I've gotten jerseys from the Canucks store that was $50 because the guy got traded. So if you're okay with getting a traded player.
That right there is gritty. Here's an interesting story. My dad has a signed Brad May Canucks jersey. Brad sat behind him and was yelling, and my dad recognized him and asked him.
Nice.
We met online.
Yeah.
Can you do a career video of Jericho's dad unless you already have?
Yeah, I haven't done one of those. I could do that. I could do something along those lines. That'd be kind of fun.
Been to an outdoor game yet? Canes finally get theirs this year, 25th anniversary.
Sadly, we've not been to an outdoor game.
Can't do outdoor games here?
Yeah, they can't. They tried it in Vancouver. They ended up having to close the roof because it was raining. Because of course it was, because it's Vancouver in January.
Bought a few Eichel jerseys from NHL shop for $40 after he was traded.
I did that with Tavares jerseys for the Islanders. They were dirt cheap.
Line jerseys. We got some cheap Line
jerseys were $30.
Yeah, so Adelaide and I
got Adelaide's for $20.
Yeah.
Or no, 10. I got hers for 10.
Hers was really cheap.
So it's
jerseys, women's jerseys.
It's if you look in the right spot. Jerseys, you look in the right spot that it doesn't cost that much. It's $20-$30, and you don't have to wait months for it.
Pulled off an outdoor game in Santa Clara. Here it rains though. It's not just that it doesn't get to be the right temperature. We have a lot of rain.
The rain kills it,
which does not work on ice.
Yeah, the rain would kill it. We get a ton of rain in January. It is a lot of rain, so it just doesn't work.
We live in a rainforest.
Yes.
Like, that's our climate zone is temperate rainforest, so outdoor doesn't work.
How the Sabres do in the draft? I think they did well enough. Picked up 3 centers in the first round, well-regarded centers in the first 2 cases, and then in the third, maybe go for a little bit of a reach. But yeah, I think they did well enough.
Most expensive jersey you've ever forked the cash out for?
That'd be my Tampa Bay Lightning reverse retro, because I had to pay for it through their store because it was impossible to find them almost anywhere else. And then I had to pay for the shipping, which was pricey, and then I had to pay for duties when it came in and handling when it came in.
Oh my gosh.
And it ended up being a lot.
So ridiculous. Yeah.
I think the shipping, I think that the duties and everything, it all ended up being over $100.
It was.
So I'd already spent a bunch on the jersey, and then getting it here cost me over $100 too.
And they didn't
because the
give
border
the
was closed.
bill for duty until after. It was like a week after you got it. We got the bill for that. And wait, what? How is the duty and the handling? What is that?
Yeah,
nonsense?
and it was when the border was closed, so we couldn't have shipped it to the American address and gone and got it because we had no idea when we'd be able to do that. So yeah, it was kind of a mess.
Are all of your jerseys authentic? They're all legit jerseys.
If they're back here, they're either replicas. They might be jerseys people had in a collection from way back when, but they're all real jerseys.
We do own some fakes, either ones that Shannon has accidentally bought, or subscribers have given us fake jerseys, and I have all of those in a bin. So Shannon
this one
never wears a fake. You will never see Shannon
this
wearing
one I
a
got
fake.
like about a year ago. As the Washington Capitals, this is the style from the 80s. Look at this. Just the stars are like vinyl. So like the old Nordiques, that was vinyl for the fleur de lis. And then this logo it's just the whole thing is odd. So, but you can see the CCM on the back as well. This was not worn very much at all, because if it was worn, the stars would have worn off. So I got this for $40. I think it was $40 for this. I think it's a small too. Just so bizarre. Oh, it says medium, men's medium. But yeah, so that's like one of the cheap used old jerseys I have.
Have you ever been to a Leafs Canucks game? Those are too expensive.
Those are pricey.
The tickets for those games are so ridiculous.
Yeah, they get too expensive. So I'm more likely to go to an Arizona game or a New Jersey game.
Yeah, if you notice the games that we go to,
it's cheap.
They're the cheaper ones, except for we've gone to some couple of Bostons, and we went to Boston, and those are more expensive.
Yep.
But we really wanted to go to those games.
Yeah, those ones were pricey. I do have Statue of Liberty. I have the white one, I have the blue one, and then I have the reverse retro as well. I have all 3 of them.
Do you get nervous having Gary Bettman behind you?
He's protecting and watching over me. That means the thing, though, is Bettman's done a lousy job making sure I don't relocate. I've relocated 3 times since the channel started. So I keep getting relocated. And I think I'm an unstable market. I have a feeling I'm an unstable market. And at some point in time, I might end up being relocated altogether. I might wake up someday and find a text from Bettman saying, you just got moved to Houston. And I don't know how I'm going to tell her we got moved to Houston. So, I've been relocated 3 times. No. Matthew Semenov, right winger, to Dallas at 179. So this shows that last year's draft was BS. That we said, this is ridiculous. This is taking this long. This proves that was absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. That was unnecessary. And here they are with their family. And here's their grandma.
Long-winded. It was all so long-winded. The second round through, we only went into the 3rd round last year. Right now we're in the 6th round.
That's crazy. Does Shannon own any national team shirts? Which team?
I got almost all the jerseys from the World Cup from 2016. The only one I don't have is Team North America because it's weird. But I have Team Europe. I do have 3 Canadian Olympic jerseys from this year because they went on dirt cheap from Sport Check. So I got the black one, the red one, and the white one. I do have other international shirts as well. Not a ton because I don't do a lot of international videos to justify spending on those jerseys and having them, but I do have a few.
And having them take up the space.
Yeah, I have a few.
It's one of those things we have to keep in mind is how much room do we have for jerseys?
Yep, absolutely. So, but anyways, we should probably get going.
That would be good.
Drafts now into late 6th round. Ryan Hofer getting drafted by Washington. But yeah, so I'm gonna close this up here. And yes, the
somebody
Canucks did draft another
You
Pedersen.
can kind of see the jerseys are by team. The ones behind us are by team.
Yeah, so New Jersey, Islanders, Rangers are up there. Over here, you've got San Jose,
Alphabetical.
St. Louis, because underneath it's Ottawa, Philly, and Pittsburgh.
And then over here,
It's Anaheim on this side, and it goes all the way to Winnipeg at this low corner over here.
He has a rack over here, and that has like all of
AHL,
his
All-Star, the
cancer
jerseys with my name on them,
jerseys.
and some internationals as well. And then over here, I've got a bunch of jackets and stuff. That one I want to get out.
Your hockey
If I can-
jackets.
If I can get that rack out of here and free up this rack, move this rack over there, have that so I can take shot, like actually have videos where I have that in the background, that'd be great.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
would be
plan.
good.
So the room's not done yet. But anyways, I'm going to get going so we can get going on other things for today. We do have kids that probably haven't eaten.
I need to
or
go make
done
strawberry
things.
shortcake.
And I'm going to order
they
strawberry
probably ate.
shortcake.
They
I'm going to get Cool Whip. And I'm even saying a Cool Whip. So I'm going to get Cool Whip. And I'm gonna get the sponge cakes, and I'm gonna get some strawberries, and I'm gonna eat myself some strawberry shortcake.
Pretend strawberry shortcake.
But thanks, guys, for coming out. We will do this again on. Now we have our live streams on Tuesdays, and of course we have the meetup tomorrow. So there'll be a video from that meetup that goes up on the channel as well. And so looking forward to that. Thank you guys for coming out. This draft was fantastic, a lot of fun, a lot of unpredictability, and yeah. But don't forget too, it's free agent week, so I'll be posting the time for the free agent live stream probably later today. Just get that out of the way so everybody knows when that's getting started. So fingers crossed that between now and then we see some trades and some action, and looking forward to reporting on all that for you guys. Great. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It means a ton. It means a lot to me. It is greatly appreciated. And I will talk to you again.
Everybody behaved on
soon.
here today.
Yes, absolutely.
So, good
Thank
job.
Thank you guys for all the well-behaved. Everybody else is at work. All the miscreants and troublemakers are in school or at work. Well, not in school, not now, but yeah. So yeah, we'll do this again soon enough. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful Friday or Saturday, depending on what part of the world you're in.
That's true.